Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Hoopers Podcast. It is 10:31. I know we're late. Blame Zeno as always.
Help
Real
me,
quick,
man.
we're not gonna play no games. We're not gonna talk about nothing else. We have none other than Mr. Randolph in the building. What's going on, boss?
Hey guys, what's going on? It is my honor to be on the Hoopsless podcast. Finally, I've been hearing a lot of good things about you guys, and I heard a little bit of last week's conversation, and it kind of piqued my interest. Kind of made my hair stand up a little bit, and so I say, you know what? When I got the invite, I thought I'd just come along and share some opinions. And I say that, my opinions, right? I'm gonna respect everybody's opinions, but I definitely want to get mine across and see what you guys have to say about it.
Well, trust me, it is me and Rod and Daryl all. I'll speak for us three when I say it is our honor to have you. Yeah, yeah,
I was about to say
it's
this.
our honor to have you on the show.
Same
We
here.
wanted you on the show like from the jump. So to finally have you here, this is a dream come true for us and the Hoopers Podcast as a brand. So I'm not going to hold this leash. All right, I'm going to let you off the loose. Star bench cut CP3, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd. Just for context to the audience, Zeno's position last week was he would start Steve Nash, he would bench Chris Paul, and he would cut Jason Kidd. Mr. Randolph has a problem with that. Zeno, you have some some information to give to the audience.
Yes. Firstly, crazy how we're throwing me into the deep end 2 minutes into the show. Secondly, originally I've spoken about how my start bench cut would be Steve Nash, CP3, and then J Kidd. I have sit down and I thought about it, and then I realized actually I'd probably have CP3 starting, having Steve Nash benched and J Kidd instead. So that's that's what I'm going to be talking about right now. That's all. Do you want me to now go into detail, or are we waiting for him to?
Well, first, what is? First, we're going to start with Mr. Randolph. Mr. Randolph,
Exactly.
What is your problem with his start bench cut?
Okay, so I don't necessarily have a problem with the start, whether it's CP3 or Jason Kidd. So I'll put that out there.
No problems.
My issue is with the cut of Jason Kidd. So, and the reason I say that, so again, I said, kind of before we started this, that, I have a lot of opinions about different things. So some of my opinions are pretty well fact based, but then others are just my opinion as a fan. And so last week when I heard this, the first thing I asked Daryl was, "Hey, how old is Zeno?" And so he said, I think he said you were 21 or something like that.
I am 21.
And so then it kind of, in my mind, I was thinking, well, maybe he really just doesn't know who Jason Kidd really is. And so I kind of thought that was the perspective that you used. But then I realized, there's a span of about 10 years that all three guards played in the league at the same time. So I'm like, well, surely he got a chance. Now, you probably kind of saw the end of Jason Kidd's career. So, maybe not seeing him at his prime because, but he still was pretty effective even towards the end of his career. Nevertheless, I'm thinking maybe just, it might be a age thing that, you kind of saw because, I think Nash just retired probably around 2014. So you might have just saw about as much playtime as maybe as Jason Kidd. But anyway, my opinion on Jason Kidd, number one, is Jason Kidd is a dog. All
Okay.
right? I mean, if I had to pick, right now I'm only talking about Nash and Kidd. Now, if I had to choose my point guard, I'm going to take Jason Kidd every day, every time, because number one, he's a big guard. Number two, he's a versatile guard.
Versatile in what means?
Say again.
Versatile in what means?
Ball.
Say again. On both sides of the ball.
Yes. So he's
okay.
Offensively and defensively. Now, he had a huge knock on him towards the beginning of his career, not being a great shooter, which I acknowledge that. And if you I'm sure if you look at the comparison between the averages, how many points they average or whatever, that you're going to see that Steve Nash is probably a higher percentage shooter, and he probably averaged more. But you also have to think that Jason Kidd, when he started playing the game, the era was a little bit different, right? They didn't depend
Agreed.
on point guards to necessarily be great shooters because it was still an inside-out game. And so Jason was, there to guard the other team's point guard, but on offensively, he would take a smaller guard in the post. And so he was, a little more effective on the inside. Definitely more. I wouldn't say he was more effective in transition because they both were pretty good in transition wise. Steve gets the edge in shooting, obviously. But when you come to the other side on the defense, in my opinion, Steve Nash is a complete liability. And
Agreed.
When you're talking about choosing a guard that you want to start, bench, or cut, you want to have somebody that's going to play both sides of the ball. And so, strictly from a defensive perspective, I have to cut Steve Nash.
Wait, just before, I don't want to cut you off. Is that everything you want to say?
Yeah, for right now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No problems. I just wanted to make sure. Firstly, I think it's interesting the way you phrased Steve Nash. Not Steve Nash, Jason Kidd. The premise of this start bench cut was actually to do with them at their peak. Because if you was listening on last week Sunday, I asked, is this to do with them at their peak? And at Jason Kidd's peak, I think we both can understand he did not have a consistent mid-range. He didn't have a consistent jump shot in general. Before I want to carry on, do you agree with me?
I agree.
Exactly. Yeah. So what was his best way of actually garnering offensive attention? Getting a guard into the post and working from there. Am I agreed?
So that, and he was a facilitator of their offense, of course. So he's getting other players into the game, which is more traditional role of a point guard versus today's point guard that primarily focus on scoring.
Agreed, but I think that the issue that I have here is that I must have said it incorrectly. I meant scoring wise. What was his ability? What was his go-to abilities when it comes to scoring? It was mainly dragging a guard or a smaller player in general down into the post. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Do you believe, watching even from an eye test standpoint, that he was not even quite efficient, like efficient enough at that ability to score?
For the team that he was on, I would say yes. And see, that's the issue that when you start comparing these guys, you got to look at more than just the individual player. You got to look at the system they're in, the team, the players they have around them. So he was affected by the talent level that was around him. Yes.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question to both of y'all?
Yeah.
Where are you seeing their quote unquote peak? Are you saying that Nash's peak was Phoenix? And are you saying that J Kidd's peak was New Jersey?
Yeah, that's what I would say. Jason Kidd's
in my
peak
opinion, in my opinion, J Kidd's peak was not in New Jersey. Don't get me wrong, he did tremendously well, but I think his peak was actually in Dallas.
In Dallas,
because it became everything was more of a complete. He was more a complete player in Dallas than he was in New Jersey, because he added those things that you needed. That mid-range jump shot, that three-point jump shot, everything was there. That was his peak. Unfortunately, it was at the end of his career that he ended up peaking out, but your body can only do so much.
That's a good question, Ron. So his peak, I almost would say he had two separate peaks, because as the way he started, right?
Yeah.
Not a great shooter and that sort of thing, but you got to think that the Nets had pretty much subpar teams that he took to the finals twice. All right,
subpars offensively.
He didn't win them, but he still got them there. So okay. I would say from that perspective, that's a high point in his career. But then, like you just mentioned, his game evolved and became more well-rounded when he was with Dallas. And of course, that you got to give that credit for that championship to Nowitzki, but he was still a pivotal part of that.
I would disagree. I think that his is in the New Jersey Nets. I think clearly he was way more athletic in New Jersey Nets. I think that his agreed that you said that he perfected his scoring ability in the Dallas Mavericks, but I think he even was a better defender on the Nets as well. I think his versatility to be able to switch onto multiple guards were shown there. I think maybe he'd been a little bit of a better passer. No, he probably was a bit of a better passer in Dallas, but I would take what's called New Jersey Nets. Nash.
You think Dallas? You don't really think Dallas Jason Kidd was a better passer than him in the Nets, right?
I think it's arguable. I think that he's probably a bit better. But I don't see how you can sit there and say that the Dallas version is better. Is it not better, but has a similar peak? Because I just think it's kind of clear that Jason Kidd was just much more valuable as a defender in his New Jersey years. He's more athletic, so he was better in transition in his New Jersey years. Yeah, Karen?
So, do you believe that a player can start their career off one way and by the end of their career change how they play the game? Just in general.
Sorry, repeat yourself again.
I said, do you believe that a player can start their career off one way?
Yes.
And then by the end of their career, especially considering they've had a pretty long career, that they have changed their style of play?
Yes, because we have seen certain players do that. For example, a fairly recent
LeBron.
one is Brook. I was going to say Brook Lopez, but LeBron too.
You were going to say Brook? Oh,
Brook Lopez, yes. He was predominantly a post player in like the mid 2010s, and now is like a 3-point specialist.
So let me clarify my comment. So when we talk about player longevity, players who last a long time in this league have to evolve with the league.
Agreed.
So there was a point in Jason's career with the Nets that you're absolutely right, and and I probably would prefer the Nets version over. Just because he was exciting to watch. But when I said I think he had two peaks, I mean he kind of like during his time at Dallas, I wouldn't say he was the best point guard in the league, but he was still in the conversation. In
Dallas,
in Dallas, he was still in the conversation.
I'd have to sit down and think about it.
You have some players that evolve, but they're not in the conversation with the top players in that position later on in their career. He was in the discussions of top players when he was with Jersey and also as a Maverick.
Can I say something real quick? I think when y'all talking about Jason Kidd's passing being like arguable with his days in the Nets uniform, I think you guys are speaking more of his Phoenix days than his Dallas days. Is it crazy for me to say that? I don't think his Dallas days as a passer were like anything to write home about. Not saying he was terrible, but compared to the playmaking and passing that he had elevated his game to being able to display in the Nets uniform, I would say Phoenix, because Phoenix was right in the middle as soon as he started to gather his stride offensively. Period.
I would say Phoenix was definitely changed. I think that's the beginning of his evolvement. I guess I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Nets were more where he was a raw prospect.
Yeah,
but you think about it like this. So his passing game, the teams that he was with in Dallas, he was on predominantly a shooting team. In New Jersey, he was on a slashing, cutting type of team. So you could say
they weren't even a shooting team.
Who? New Jersey?
No, Dallas. Dallas was not a shooting team.
Okay, so question to you, because you said he was one of the best point. He was in. Did you? I don't want to get you wrong. I don't want to misquote you. Could you repeat to me what you said about Jason Kidd being something like one of the best guard? Was it the best guard in the league?
In both aspects of his career. So, no, obviously, as
mhm.
but I'm saying in both aspects of his career, the style of play he used in Jersey, he was in the conversation amongst the top point guards in the league.
Yeah.
Same thing. After he evolved with the league, he was still in the conversation of top point guards in the league.
I disagree. I think that CP3 clearly showed that he was the best guard in the league at that point.
See, I didn't say he was the best. I said he was still in the conversation. That's a difference.
He was not.
No, because for example, right now, during 2016 to 2018, Steph Curry was the best point guard in the league. Do you think that any guard next
was retired by that time?
I'm not talking. I think you're missing what I'm talking about. We're moving on from that. I'm just giving you a example.
No.
So
I want you to understand what I'm saying, though. What I'm saying, while he was playing, now I'm only talking about during the time Jason Kidd was playing. I'm not saying that he's in the conversation amongst the top point guards today. I'm saying during the time he was playing, he was still in the conversation amongst those point guards playing the game at the time he was playing.
You missed my point. Okay. I'm trying to use an example. So I'm saying in 2018, when Steph Curry was the best guard in the league, the best point guard in the league, let's use Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook was probably the second best guard in the league. Was he in contention for the best guard in the league, or was it just clearly Steph?
That's a big shift in conversation.
There's a reason for this.
Okay, so well, let me ask you this. What makes you say Steph Curry was the best point guard in the league?
His ability to provide a lot of value off ball.
I'm not saying I disagree with you, by the way.
Yeah, his ability off ball to be pretty much the best off ball player in the league by miles. His ability to create a lot of advantage just by being off ball and running through screens and forcing defenders to come towards him. It was shown in the 2017 finals and later in the 2018 finals that teams would actually load up on Steph Curry more than Kevin Durant, which allowed him to have one of his best efficient scoring finals and just being very efficient for the most part. I think.
100% agree with that.
Okay. I would also value the spacing that he brings from his three-point shooting, being the best three-point shooter of all time. I'd also believe that his playmaking, I already said his playmaking, so it's pretty much his offensive ability is what makes him be a number one. And Russell Westbrook may be him on ball, but I don't think that the on ball value that he brings, playmaking wise, beats what Steph brings on the off ball. Plus, Steph is just a better scorer than Russell Westbrook as well.
I think it's an unfair comparison, though, to put him against Russell Westbrook, because if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Russell Westbrook was a natural point guard. He evolved to that position. And so,
no, he came into the league as a point guard.
Westbrook?
Yes, and let me.
They drafted him as a point guard, but in college he was playing shooting guard.
That's what you mean when he said he came.
Okay.
Because I know he wasn't like I don't think he was a traditional point guard as we have the discussion like Nash and Kidd, and I mean I don't think he, they're two different styles of play as well.
I feel like it's weird to bring up that though, because also Steph isn't a traditional point guard himself. He kind of birthed the combo guard conversations. So I think that's weird to bring that up.
Yeah.
I don't think he birthed it, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, I don't know.
He didn't birth it because we had stuff like Gilbert Arenas, all of that type of stuff. But like he birthed the terminology, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay.
So one thing I would add about Steph as well is sometimes you can be so great at something. This is not just basketball. Sometimes you can be so great at something that it kind of covers up your faults. And so sometimes we're reckless with the ball, and he just is. He doesn't secure the ball as much as he should, but he overcomes that because of his ability to move without the ball, and naturally his ability to shoot the ball. And none of that part, the negative part of that, would make me leave him off my team. By the way, but You know, I mean, you can be so good at something that you can cover up your faults.
Okay, so my whole reasoning of arguing that, wait, I still haven't gotten your answer. So who is he? Clearly, is Steph clearly better than Westbrook
in 2018.
2018?
Yes.
So is Westbrook still in contention of being the best point guard in the league?
Well, that's two different questions, though.
No, okay.
So what he said was
I
in
guess-
contention to be one of the best. He didn't say
Yeah.
he was in contention to be the best.
Right.
He was
And
in contention to be one of the best point guards in the league. So let's not misconstrue the conversation.
No, but at the time where Chris Paul was like far and wide the best point guard in the game, right?
Yeah.
The only he could be in the conversation, but what does that really say when, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the best point guard is that much better than the second, third, fourth best point guard.
You know what it is? It's just that I tripped up on your terminology. I'll just leave it as that, because while we sit here and have this conversation, you did say one of the best. So I just tripped up on your terminology. Essentially, my whole point of why I went into that kind of little rant was specifically to point out the fact that you can be in contention of being the best, but if someone is just that much better than you, what's the point of it?
Yeah, I'm tracking you. I'm tracking you.
Fair enough. But if that's what you meant, then that's on me, my fault.
So
but
now I got a question for you. Can we back up for a minute to go back to cutting Jason Kidd? So
yes, go ahead.
I want to hear why you believe why you believe Jason Kidd should be cut over Steve Nash.
I think that I think in the most part, right? I think that guard defense is the least impactful part of offense in defense of when it comes to the 5 positions, just strictly due to their limitations when it comes to size and wingspan. I think most point guards, I think we all would agree, tend to be around 6'1", and their wingspans are not that big. So it just means that as soon as they pretty much get to what's called this shooting guard or even the small forward, they're already outmatched. So they really can't impact defense on that level because they just don't have the size and width for that. But then there's a few outliers, and the few outliers that I think of that is Gary Payton. I think we have stuff like Sidney Moncrief. He's not a point guard, but you get what I'm saying. There's players that are outliers, and I think Jason Kidd are one of the outliers. And that's why I understand how great and how valuable he is to a team, because Jason Kidd allows you to pretty much have an anchor as a guard, which is like, he's literally the only point guard that can anchor defense. Very versatile, big strong wing body in a point guard. I do agree with that. But I think that Steve Nash, although he does bleed some value on the defensive end, I think what he brings to you on the offensive end, due to the fact that, one, his ability to score on all aspects on the court outside of, like, post moves and all that type of stuff, his ability to play make at the highest level, I think that Steve Nash is probably a top 3 to 5 point playmaker of all time. I think that Steve Nash, one of his issues that people tend to talk about, which is his scoring aggression, goes up in the playoffs. There's multiple times where you can see this, like, for example, against the Mavs when Steve Nash was averaging like 34 a game. So he has times where he can even ramp up his scoring aggression. So to me, when it comes to out of all 3 of them, I think that Steve Nash brings so much value on the offensive end because of how great he is as a playmaker. Because if you look at the Suns and you look at all the players that played with Steve Nash at that time, they peak in efficiency with Steve Nash. Anytime they gone to another team, they dropped in efficiency. That's because of what Steve Nash is able to do, constantly stressing the defenses when he's attacking, when he's driving around in the paint, trying to look for little openings, and his own ability to score. So you can't sag off of Steve Nash. Now, Jason Kidd has that issue where you can sag out off of him until he hits like the paint, or if he goes into the post to post up a smaller guard. Steve Nash has none of those type of issues. That's my reasoning. On the defensive end, I understand, but I feel like you can deal with Steve Nash being you can deal with Steve Nash being a defensive issue, while Jason Kidd being your main ball handler on being being an offensive issue can be much more detrimental. That's why.
Okay. I would say from an offensive argument, I can get with what you're saying. But there's two things. Basketball is a team sport, number one, which I think we can agree that both players do well at facilitating, getting their teams involved.
Agreed.
Number two, defense wins championships. And
agreed.
Steve Nash does not have a championship medal. He doesn't have a ring at all. It's high powered as whatever you just said. Offensively, he does not have a ring to show for his efforts, because defense wins championships. And so when I have a guard that I know that has made all defensive teams, and he has all accolades, assists, rebounds. I mean, he has all the other aspects. Jason Kidd was missing. He wasn't. You're right. People sag off of him. Okay, but he adjusted for that. But the other things you can't take away from the discussion, because he led his team in Jersey twice to the finals. Now again, he didn't win it, but he led them there. Undoubtedly, he was the lead of that team, right? But I want somebody, when you talk about cutting somebody, I want somebody that I know is going to be able to disrupt. And I think you said something earlier. You said that you think the guard position is the weakest part of the defense, and I disagree with that.
I said weakest. I said they have the least value due to inherent size and
Thanks for correcting that. The thing is, though, when you have a guard that can disrupt the other team's offensive set, that's huge.
You're agreeing with me though, because that's literally what I said. I gave Jason Kidd props because I said he's an outlier. Because
you did. Okay, I stand corrected. You did say that. But yeah, I mean, that's what factored into my decision to not cut him because of him being an outlier. And I can agree with that, because not your average guard is not going to give you what he gave you. But and which kind of bolsters, in my opinion, the argument a little bit more that we shouldn't cut him. Because I venture to say, if you look at everything but scoring, and assists, rebounds, all the other the other areas of stats, they're probably, I would say Jason Kidd probably has the edge.
I think stats is a bad way to depict how good a player is.
I agree, because it's the impact they have on the game at the time and all that stuff. So, but I'm just saying, exactly. from a pure player to player, I mean, it's, I don't know. I personally would keep Jason Kidd because obviously everything I just said, but with him being a good defender, that speaks volumes for me.
Yeah, I think that at this point it's just a situation where we won't see eye to eye,
simply
because of the fact. Yeah.
Can I say something though? Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I think I'm surprised you failed to mention this. Miss Randall, with all due respect,
if you was going to add, I know where you're gonna go to, and I promise you, I was gonna go to there richly right now.
I'm gonna let you say it. If you don't say what I'm saying, I'm cutting you off again. Go.
Okay, so first, I was gonna say, I think we just gonna have to agree to disagree, because you clearly value defense in your defense as much as you value the offense that Steve Nash agrees. But I do believe when you spoke about the New Jersey Nets, and you agreed that you think the New Jersey Nets is the best Jason Kidd, right?
I said he's my preferable. That's who I preferred.
Okay, so we're gonna use the Phoenix Steve Nash and the New Jersey Nets Jason Kidd. Yes.
Okay.
So you are aware that that Eastern Conference was one of the weakest Eastern Conference that we've ever seen, right?
If you're gonna say that, then you need to talk about LeBron beating up on the East for fucking 7 years. No, dog, don't do that. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. I told y'all last week we got to stop doing this. Because this is weak and this is weak. They are NBA players.
But how
they are professionals.
How did LeBron come into this?
Bro, I was going to go the same.
Stop it. Stop that.
I was going to pull that chip out and say the same thing.
Come on, man. Come on. Y'all got to stop doing that.
Okay. If you want to say that they've just facing their competition, okay, that's fine. But this competition sucks. Like let's be honest. The comp that the New Jersey Nets were playing around that time, outside of the Boston Celtics, who's a top 5 defense, but they were like they were like one of the worst offenses, especially in the postseason. Hey, Leaf. Like, what are we doing? Like that, what Jason Kidd went up against in the Eastern Conference, it is not the same as what Steve Nash was going up against in his prime. In his prime, he was going up against a Kobe Bryant-led Los Angeles Lakers team. What team on the Eastern Conference that Jason Kidd went up against was comparable to the Los Angeles Lakers?
That's what I wanted to bring up. Yes, I do get it. You can talk about that LeBron thing. Firstly, I'm not a LeBron fan, so using that doesn't prove anything to me. Yeah, Secondly, just like Casual said, you can say that Jason Kidd had won a chip. You already agreed that the one that he won a chip in wasn't the preferable one you looked for. You're talking about the New Jersey Nets. And when we talk about the New Jersey Nets, that conference wasn't nearly as strong as the conference that Steve Nash had to go through. Steve Nash is going through the
San Antonio Spurs,
the Dynasty Spurs, Kobe Lakers.
That Steve Nash the personnel Steve Nash had around him was way better than what Jason Kidd had around him too.
Offensively,
yeah.
Offensively, yes. Defensively,
no, it was not.
No, but I'm saying he's talking offense.
I mean, when you got Kerry Kittles, Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson, I think they had Todd McCulloch.
Yeah, it's not like Jason Kidd's supporting cast was anything to sniff at. What are we talking about here?
It definitely was. As opposed to Amari Stoudemire, Sean Marion, Joe Johnson, Boris Diaw, Barbosa.
He had Keith Van Horn. What are we talking about here? Brandon Armstrong was playing back.
Casual. You're proving that point.
Keith Van Horn was a great AP.
You said what?
You're proving that point. They're trying to say that the supporting cast
that Jason Kidd had, bro, wasn't.
If you want to say that Steve Nash,
to what Steve Nash had.
If you want to say that Steve Nash supporting cast, he had a great supporting cast offensively. Fair enough. But the same goes for Steve Nash. And in that Eastern Conference, they were running roughshod on everybody.
Defensively.
Yeah. No. What?
You said offensively for Steve Nash.
Yeah. As far as the Phoenix Suns offensively, the New Jersey Nets were more well-rounded, if you ask me, because Richard Jefferson offensively, was he a bad offensive player?
That team, I just want you to know, that team had one floor spacing, and that was Kerry Kittles.
Yeah.
Everybody else, to let you know that, bro. Everybody else, bro, was a rim runner at best, man. The Kenyon Martin, basically, he scored most.
Kenyon Martin was a lob threat, and that was about it.
Yeah, he was a lob threat rim runner, bro. Richard Jefferson played in the open court. He was a dunker. Jason Kidd, bro. Jason Kidd shot a couple of mid ranges and threes, bro. During that time, but
and and for the Phoenix Suns, outside of Sean Marion, everybody else was either mid or negative defensively.
I guess you could say that. I mean,
no, it's not. I
guess
team at all. They were let's run the score up and see if we can.
The Phoenix Suns offense was literally outscore you. That was their.
I understand that, but in terms
Mike
of
D'Antoni's system was
let's
run the score up and beat you. That's why he's
It's a-
never.
no, no, I know what he's saying,
might I add, they were close to being able to be just as successful for Steve Nash to be able to say what you're saying for Jason Kidd, as in when he was the leader of the New Jersey Nets, they made it to the finals twice. Steve Nash would have been capable of doing that if he didn't go up against the Dynasty Spurs. If he didn't go up against the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, what are we talking about here?
But listen, when we say that, bro, we also got to acknowledge that them Suns teams was winning 60-something games, bro. Like, and if running into the Spurs and about what was it, 04-05, because that's when they made the finals, and then running into Dallas, the year that they made the final 06, and then running into, I guess, the Spurs again when they beat the Lakers in 06-07. Then basically the Lakers ran off 3 straight, bro. Like, during that era, for the Suns to have so much regular season success and not even sniff the NBA Finals, to me, bro, like that falls on the back of Steve Nash. Realistically,
Lee. So what you saying? So Lee, what you saying is that defense wins championships. What you saying? That's what you're saying.
Well,
that's what you're saying. What you're saying is that defense wins championships.
By a better team.
A better defensive team. You're right. A better defensive team.
Wait. I would like to add a better
defensive team than the New Jersey Nets.
I would like to add that at least getting to the finals and winning a championship is 2 different things, bro. Like that. Let's just get that out of the way. So
I want to say that leave, and I also want to say it's funny how it was supposed to be a me and Daryl's dad argument, and it just devolved.
No, because y'all were drifting off. You already went to the point where you were like, "Oh, we're gonna agree to disagree." So you already let that go. Cut that off. Cut that off. You know.
I just need to involve, bro. Like it's some truth and some like half truths told about some of these teams and some of these players and the teams that they were leading during that time, bro. Like, so we got to be a little bit more accurate about who the Suns actually were. They was 60+ win team that did not sniff.
They won 60 games 1 year in the 05, 04,
okay,
05.
all right, 50+ win team, bro. Like, in that
and the New Jersey Nets was a 50 win team. I think they won 52 games in 02.
And they made the finals twice, bro. Like, and
they made the finals, and they made the finals also winning 49 games the next year. And you want to know what and this is another thing that I'll say to Zeno. How do you not say this? You want to speak about Jason Kidd's defense and playmaking, and fair enough, defensively, I've made the argument he's transcended defensively, anchoring that defense. But playmaking wise, excuse me if I'm not moved by a playmaker that, even though he's an elite passer, he's only elevating your offense to like the 18th offensive rated team. I'm sorry, I'm not moved. I'm not moved.
Wait, who is that now?
Jason
Kidd.
To be fair, the reason why is that, as we already explained,
but we got to remember, but before Jason Kidd got there, I believe that team was a sub 500 team, bro. For him to lift, even though Steve Nash definitely did the same thing for the Suns. So, and both of them in their right was, during that time, was the number 1 point guard and the number 2 point guard at that time, in a point guard pool that really wasn't nothing to speak of. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you could give me the rest of the top 10 point guards during that time, bro, like, I'd definitely sit here and wait, and we'll be like everything.
You talking about for the 2000s, or just
for that portion of the early 2000s? This is before Chris Paul showed up, by the way. For that portion of that early 2000s, during them years, if you could give me the rest of the top 10 point guard pool after Steve Nash and Jason Kidd, bro, I'm all ears are willing to hear it, bro. Like, I guarantee there's gonna be names that's gonna pop up that you're gonna be frowning your face at, bro. You're gonna be like, no, come on, bro. Like, this is ridiculous. But
no, absolutely. Baron Davis and Steve Francis is like, I think they.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think they have a case.
I like Baron Davis too, but Steve Francis, bro, I think me and you both could agree, bro. Like, that's something that you're gonna be like, oh my God, you're gonna turn your camera off. That's why I got my camera off, bro. Like, this, I don't want people to see my faces when they bring up these names, bro. Like, Chauncey Billups. Chauncey, I'll give you Chauncey, bro, just off the strength that he won a championship during that time.
AI
was a shooting guard.
Yeah, AI was a 2 guard.
AI was a shooting guard.
If anybody says
Chauncey didn't elevate himself into like that category until like what, 2003?
2003, 2004, and 2005. Obviously, yeah.
I mean,
I would say that.
what I'm bringing up.
But
You said early 2000s, man.
I would say like the 2000s to like 2005 and stuff like before Chris Paul showed up, bro. Like, listen, the point guard pool.
Sometimes you got to get a little nasty dust, though. Bro.
Yeah, definitely. But listen, when you mention names like Marbury and Andre Miller, who led the league in assists during I think 2001, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been 2000, but 2001. He led the league in assists with the Cavaliers, and their second best player was Ricky Davis. So like, it's a lot of nastiness, bro. Like, and during that era, of lead point guards, bro. Like, because it wasn't that era, bro. It was basically the era was shooting guards, and power forwards.
Yeah,
that was that era. You know what I'm saying? And those were guys that was basically the head honchos on a team because it was and what's now known as the dead ball era, bro. Like, efficiency wasn't a thing, bro. Like now you fast forward years later, now we got to dig because now efficiency is a thing since 2013, and now we hold those players responsible for what we didn't hold them for at the time that they played. When we didn't give a damn how many shots AI took, bro. Like during that time, trust me. You know why? Because we knew he had to take all the shots. Look at his team. We didn't give a damn how many shots T-Mac take. You know why? The same reason why we didn't give a damn how many shots AI took. The same thing with Vince Carter, and the same thing with a lot of other two guards. So it wasn't an efficiency built era.
Actually, Vince Carter was more efficient than Allen Iverson. But hey, Leaf, we got
start bench cut, Nash, Kidd, and CP3.
I gotta be brutally honest. CP3, J Kidd, Steve Nash. Just all in totality, bro. Like CP3, bro, who I despise every bit of the way, bro. Like I spit on everything in his career, bro. Like
that's insane.
I really do.
Okay, Mr. Randolph, his vote doesn't matter because he's already pointed to bias. Okay. No. I didn't point to bias because I had CP3 number as the start, bro. Like because I acknowledge that listen, his overall package, bro. When we talking about one of the most complete point guards of all time, bro. Like when you talk about his package of being high mid, he had years where he was a high mid range guy. He had the three ball, all world defensively, bro. Like that, definitely a top playmaker, top passer. Definitely leading his teams. So, man, one of the guys that could lead his teams in points and assists in a couple of years, even though it was really for 1 year. With in 2008, he hasn't moved me since. But realistically, bro, like out of the three, he's the most complete out of the three, bro. J Kidd, I had because of his two-way ability, obviously, his ability to lead a team and his ability to affect the game and on defense as well, and affect the game with assist and defense as well. And was a willing scorer when he needed to be, but not as willing as Steve Nash. But I guarantee you, if you put those three in a room, bro, Steve Nash, even with the two MVPs, is being picked last out of that group. I'm almost certain of it, bro. Like, and I know y'all like to harp on the efficiency and everything that he did in the playoffs. And, look what Steve Nash did, man. And I'm like, yeah, remind you that he did all of that with he did most if not all of that with Mike D'Antoni, who has worked wonders for guys like Jeremy Lin and James Harden. But before that, bro, people are gonna tell me, he did something in Dallas, bro. Remind me who the top point guards other than the league was when he was in Dallas. And I tell you, yeah, that's why he was doing what he was doing, and he was making all NBA teams. But that's my list. Dirty ass Shorty Dirty, Chris Paul. We're gonna start him. We J Kidd and then Steve Nash. We're gonna have to cut him. I'll say this to wrap this up because my God, Leaf, welcome to the show. Me and Zeno and Rod sort of came to an agreement Friday already that really this conversation comes down to preference between defense and offense. Me and I told Zeno that we're probably the only ones that understand the impact on the offensive side. Like you can be better than a player even if that player has elite on one end of the ball, but you're more elite on the other end. So in Steve Nash's case, offensively, he's more. I'm going to mute you real quick. Offensively, Steve Nash to us his offensive impact is more transcendent than Jason Kidd's transcendent defense. And so for the New Jersey Nets, like, fair enough, Jason Kidd's defense gathered them to be to get to the finals. When you think about the competition that Steve Nash was getting or was having to go up against, and the fact that he routinely was being in that championship hunt based off of solely, as we all have agreed so far the show, offensive production, playmaking, scoring, and he has the scoring aggression and his efficiency still maintains. I think that that's a little more valuable. But if you think that Jason Kidd's defense is along with his elite playmaking is more valuable than what Steve Nash gives, it's purely preference. I don't think any of these guys between CP3, Steve Nash, or Jason Kidd, it's a knock to say that you're not better than the other person. I think it's purely preference.
Well, to say to that, bro, like what I would say to Steve Nash's efficiency, bro, people will harp on it so much, and because they go right to the numbers and go right to 50, 40, 90 seasons, which the Steve Nash definitely has a lot of them, and he has a lot of them in playoff runs as exactly too. But but what it really goes to speak on is that Steve Nash was one of those players that never really made a bad play, man. If I had to say, bro, his assist turnover ratio is pretty effing good, bro. Like being that Muggsy Bogues has the highest assist to turnover ratio in league history. But to say that, I think everything that harps to Steve Nash's point is when the game was starting to change. And listen, and that was basically post Malice in the Palace, bro. But when defenses basically were starting to get more and more handcuffed. And that's when we finally seen the ascension of Steve Nash, bro. Like the ascension of Steve Nash that we know didn't come until that, bro. Like when Jason Kidd, a guy like Jason Kidd, bro, he pretty much had to be all world on both sides of the ball. He had to be that. Chris Paul is not really in this conversation too much, bro. Like, but all around, when we talk about the three, I think Chris Paul has maxed out an all-around body of work at the point guard position, bro. Like, but in the case of Jason Kidd and Steve Nash, I think we talking about a vastly difference between those two finals runs before 2004, before Malice in the Palace, and the ascension of the Phoenix Nash and the Steve Nash and the Phoenix Suns post Malice in the Palace. Those are two different. Like whether people like to admit it or not, those are two different times in basketball. They just are, bro. So like that.
Hey, Lee, would you say that Jason, during his time, it was when it came to the playoffs, it was the game always grinded to a half court set versus with Steve Nash. He kind of brought in the transition, like, hey, transition offense is going to be, kind of lead the way scoring offensively. So again, two different eras. But where Jason Kidd was embedded in one and Steve Nash was embedded in the other. And Chris Paul was more like, hey, I can play in the new way, but I still have an old soul.
Yes, I think he had the best. You can exactly say that. I think Chris Paul, when it comes to Steve Nash and Jason Kidd, basically had the best of both worlds. I think when we talk about Chris Paul, he listen. I don't think he had closest. He probably out of the three had the closest to efficiency in terms of mid-range shooting that Steve Nash had. And obviously the three ball, we gonna say Steve Nash all day, even though Chris Paul can hit the three, but and hit free throws. And then on the defensive side of the ball, he had what Jason Kidd applied on defense as well. Chris Paul was top in steals and a very good on-ball defender at his best, on his best day. So Chris Paul had the best of both worlds. What the conversation kind of navigated to was basically Jason Kidd in the early 2000s, and as opposed to Steve Nash in the mid 2000s. I would just like to say, and one of the things I remember firmly, and I always go back to, and I go to state this case, those are very two different times in basketball. We talking about Steve Nash winning them two back-to-back MVPs post Malice of the Palace. This is post when basically the media saw that game and basically forced the NBA to change their ways and basically ended up changing the rules. Now you got teams like the Pistons and the Pacers, who was top in the East. Now they're relished, bro, because you basically took the physical style that they had applied on defense, bro, out of the game, man. Like then now the Ben Wallaces, bro, they can't play. Their time is limited. They can't play anymore. the Ron Artestas, bro, like they could still play, but they have to change their ways and change their game. That defensively, they can't play the way they used to play. The same thing with those. So this is the era, this is the Eastern Conference, bro, that Jason Kidd was basically battling, because those teams were still relevant during that time, bro. Like, but best believe it. The Pistons were still relevant during that time. They just didn't have Rasheed Wallace. The Pacers were still relevant at that time. They just didn't have if I'm not mistaken, I think that was around the time that they got Jermaine O'Neal, like 2001, 2002, and Ron Artest, I think 2002, if I believe. I might be wrong about the years, but those teams defensively were very, very competitive, bro. Like along with the Nets and along with the 76ers, bro, who punched their ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2001. So the Eastern Conference during that time and all the way to the time where they was Jason Kidd and AI was making finals appearances, and then ultimately the Pistons won a championship during that, all the way up to Malice in the Palace. You talking about a grit and grind type of conference, bro, where you basically was in a battle, almost a bloodbath every night defensively, bro. Like it was that type of thing. It wasn't like the offense wasn't that cracked up and the offenses wasn't that beefed up, as opposed to the Western Conference, where you had to have high scoring nights and in the Steve Nash era. But we're talking about two different conferences and two different times of basketball. So I don't really apply the same pressure, bro, because I hold, obviously it is preference, but it's kind of half preference, half reality.
Yeah, but if your defense is if your offense is so ass, then defensively those numbers can be skewed, and it can be viewed as you being an elite defense, but offensively you're just going up against people that are just so yes, absolutely. Defensively, you're just going up against offenses that are just like incompetent. And so it makes it look like your defense is way better than it actually is. All right, so we're gonna move on. Well, one second. We have a super chat from Fariz. He says Nash was finally allowed to be the number one option and have his own team after leaving Dirk. The biggest reason he exploded on the Suns. Absolutely. And I think if Steve Nash was here, he would probably speak on how he, to a certain degree, wishes that didn't have to happen. Because remember, that all happened because Mark Cuban didn't want to give him the money that he felt he was deserved. And so he ended up sending him to Phoenix instead of just allowing him and Dirk to be able to flourish as the elite offense that they were showing to be under Don Nelson. Like the offense that like ultimately became under Mike D'Antoni, you already saw flashes of like brilliance from Steve Nash playing alongside Dirk, like two transcendent offensive players in their own right, tag teaming together. It was crazy for those two. But we're going to move on to the next topic. We're going to be talking about AAU's impact. Last week, that is also something else that we spoke about. We spoke with the blogger for the Washington Wizards about it, and now we're going to be hearing word of mouth, gospel, from somebody that actually like has been around the AAU scene for longer than I have, and I'm 25. So, so OG, we're gonna leave it to you to be able to
you're old.
I heard that, Zeno. Hey, I got kids older than you. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Hey, so like I said, I didn't get a chance to listen to the entire show last week, but I picked up on the portion, the discussion you guys had, and I just and I agreed with much of it. I just wanted to add, one point to it, a couple points. But number one, when I say brand name, does that mean something to you guys? Like, let me give you an example. If you're packing your lunch and you make a sandwich, what do you put your sandwich in?
Lunchbox.
Or let's say you're going to put it in a plastic bag. What do you call that plastic bag?
A sandwich bag?
A Ziploc bag, right? Most people say Ziploc bag. or if you say,
I got what you mean now. I get what you mean now.
I'm gonna search something, I'm gonna look for something online. Oh, well, I'm gonna Google it, right? So those are brand names, but they're not, but you're using a search engine, right? So you're using, like you said, a sandwich bag, not a Ziploc bag. But those businesses that have been able to brand that product, that's kind of the label that it gets. And so I say that to say, with a lot of stuff we call AAU, it gets the brand name because of the popularity of AAU. But AAU is a nonprofit organization just like the one I run, and they've been around since the late 1800s. But so you have, in fact, I believe they used to be the governing body for USA Basketball before that change. But so it's a reputable organization that has had its name tarnished, if you will, by the actions of some of the coaches that have come along, and essentially ruined it for them, and they just label everything AAU. So I wanted to make sure we make that distinction, that inherently AAU basketball or AAU sports are not bad. It's the coaches and the people that have gotten involved over the years that has essentially changed that brand name, if you will, into something negative. That was the one point. And then the other point was that they, the fact that comes into mind when you're talking about travel sports. I would say travel sports, but athletes overuse, fatigue that leads to injury, athlete burnout. Players been exploited. All about the money, all that stuff. Those are all real things, but they're not necessarily products of AAU. They're more products of the people who have gotten involved with it over the years.
Rod, do you have anything to say before I respond to Mr. Randolph?
No, I agree. There's a lot of stuff. The AAU was meant to be a developmental type of organization, and it has gone way away from that. And it's become more of a showcase of kids just playing games. Even the refs don't ref games the same way as they would for a regular high school game. So it's not what it should be. They should be learning, should be developing, and being able to put themselves in a better light for whether it's to move to the NBA or move to college, then the NBA. But it's not being pushed that way anymore. Being the second oldest person here.
Rod, I got a question for you. Do you know what organization kind of moved AAU towards that show? You said the word showcase. Do you know what organization kind of moved them towards that?
I don't know specifically the name of the organization.
It was NCAA.
Was it NCAA? Okay.
The NCAA has recruiting rules. They have a like a calendar when they can observe players, when they can have dead periods, when coaches can talk to and so when they changed their calendar, I'll find the link for you guys and send it to Daryl or something later. But they changed their format of how kids can be recruited, and which it allowed these coaches in AAU to be able to take advantage of that situation. That's why you start seeing all of these tournaments pile up in the summer, because they changed the windows of when those coaches could be looking at those players. But I'll send you guys that information.
Okay.
I was gonna say my big thing with AAU, obviously, y'all heard how I feel. Like, yes, I played in it for half of my life, that I can tell you, but it was initially was supposed to be an organization to be good for children and for any kid to basically develop into working on their craft and be around the fundamentals and stuff. And like he was explaining, I think it's still a good organization. you just have certain coaches that try and take it, to a different level in order to just be like, you know what, if I tell these parents, and I'm saying the bad coaches, not the coaches that want to see these kids develop, the other guys who say, if I tell these parents, hey, I can get your daughter to the next level if by my name. And you got most people who really will say, well, you know what? I'm gonna put my daughter with this guy because he told me that he can get our kid to the next level. And they'll be like, and you'll have coaches who will scam them and be like, it costs $500 for uniforms, plus practices, all this stuff, and parents will pay it. But then where it becomes a scam is when they're not seeing their kid play, and then you're not seeing the kid develop when they try out for their high school teams. And I think that's where I have the issue with AAU, because it's like these kids really aren't developing any type of skill.
Okay. So well, okay, Mr. Murdoch, do you want to rebuttal to Daryl's point?
Yeah, I wanted to say that running this league, we get new parents all the time with new players, and so one of our questions that we ask, first of all, I run a recreational league, not a travel league, but we get a lot of players from that do both, and so when a parent brings their child, and we typically ask experience level, because we try to keep the league balanced to keep it more competitive. And so many of them, the first thing out of their mouth is like, well, he plays AAU or she plays AAU. And so I've gotten so desensitized to it now that, I mean, it used to kind of mean something like, oh, okay, this person, may be really good. But now I'm looking at the products that parents are saying, well, he or she plays AAU, and you get them out there on the court to try to see what kind of skills they have. And it's like, I'm sorry, did you say that your son and daughter play AAU? Because it doesn't carry the same weight. Because, again, because of the coaches that are out there, they're just, hey, if your kid is, 10 years old and he's 6'1", let him come play AAU. But the development piece is there, and like Daryl mentioned, they're running up and down the highway to all these different tournaments, but these kids are sitting there watching, and that's it. And so it's really, from that perspective, getting away. And I think Kobe has talked about it, and a couple of other professional athletes about, you're getting away from the core grassroots of youth sports, which is development. Not only education, but skill. I mean, not only skills, but education as well. That piece is missing. And that's what you're seeing translate to the NBA, especially on the American side. You got foreign athletes that are coming into the NBA now that are totally dominating because they're getting that skill and educational development that's meant to be. And they're not getting burnt out. They're going through their process where you train, then you compete, and then you rest and recover. It's like a cycle, and you can't just continue to just bang, 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 bang all year long and not get those aspects and think that you're going to make it to the next level. Somebody has to make it in. So, collectively, you kind of see the overall group of talent that's going into the league that's probably not as I won't say they're probably more athletic, but in terms of knowledge of the game and that sort of thing, you kind of see it kind of falling off. That's it.
I was going to add on, like, last thing I was going to add on, because I know how you mentioned that about how you have, those parents who say their son or daughter plays AAU, and how that used to sound meaningful. Because Rodney, you probably can agree with me on this as being officials of the game for like AAU and rec league, even high school, where you have coaches who kind of do the similar thing where they get upset with calls we make, and it's coaches who don't understand the rules of the game. They just watch NBA and think that translates to all levels of basketball. And so they get upset when we make calls, and they'll be like, well, I'm an AAU head coach. And, to me and you, how we are, it's like, that don't mean anything. It's if you understand the game of basketball. I don't care what level you coach at. Do you understand the rules of, the fundamentals of the game? And I think that's one of the biggest things too, is that a lot of people miss is, the coaching, where it's like pretty much with anybody can coach. That's like, you just have to have I think that was it. You have to have the was it the permit or whatever to sign a team up and a coach just to be registered for AAU?
Yeah, anybody can sign up.
Yeah.
So, truthfully, anybody can, and that's going to lead me to my point in a second.
Yeah, so and I think that's one of the biggest things that happen too, is because you get a lot of coaches who just want to go ahead and say, "Oh, coaching is easy. This ain't going to be hard," so they go ahead and do it. And then once they go into these big tournaments, then they get upset when, not everything goes their way because they watch too much of what they see on TV and expect it to just translate into youth sports. Like they're going to get all those calls.
Go ahead, Cash.
Yeah. Okay. So, I believe what you're speaking on is sort of the points that I was attacking when I was pointing the finger at AAUs specifically. I'm glad that you're on the show so that you can be able to differentiate like AAU as an organization versus the actual process of amateur sports, organizations sort of like branching off to do their own things, right? So thank you for being here to be able to, speak on that, because I'm not that educated on this topic in that sense. But as far as AAU's involvement in the downfall of amateur basketball, I'm very knowledgeable of that. My problem when it comes to AAU isn't that I'm looking at amateur basketball being like dissipating in quality and looking at AAU as like the brand to point the finger at. No, what I'm pointing at when I'm looking at AAU is how a lot of these teams are created. A lot of these head coaches make these teams, right? And they get into these tournaments that are AAU based. They get into these tournaments, or they get their certificate like stamped off as you can be a coach now. And they come to AAU and say, hey, I have a team I want to create. And they look and they say, okay, and that's about it. That's my problem. How we are so far into the development of teams, like amateur teams being created. And there hasn't been any rules set in for, let's say, safety of kids. I can speak for myself. Being on an AAU team, they were called Game Time Tigers. So they were called Game Time Tigers. And the head coach would have us drive from, let's say, one area to about 50 minutes out, not with our parents, with him. And he would drive us all the way over there, have us work out in strenuous conditions. Like the gym was not well kept. It wasn't a consistent gym, as in like we weren't going to that gym specifically all the time. But when we did go to that gym was not in the best kept condition. And you had a lot of people that would like sprain their ankle, and they had to just ice it. Like that's all that he said. You just ice it. There were no cares being taken care. There were no cares being looked after for these kids. There were no guidance from the standpoint of, hey, this is what you need to do. The only thing he was focused on doing was trying to create a team so that he could be able to showcase one player, his son. And that's the case for a lot of these coaches. And so, fair enough, that situation don't put on just AAU. That's a moral thing that some of these adults, some of these grown ass men need to own up to and just face facts. You're not a good coach. You don't need to be coaching all these kids. That's one thing. But the part that AAU plays a role in is how they still have a position in the first place. How is there not a rule where after, let's say, a certain amount of time of them being a team, you don't do a routine checkup? How are you not keeping record of these teams that you're allowed to have in America to be able to roam around and get into tournaments? How are you not looking at that and keeping and doing just a simple routine checkup to make sure if this team is being treated with the proper care that it's supposed to by its coach? That's my problem with AAU. They don't have any rules in set to punish these teams that aren't being used the way that they're supposed to be used. I agree with you. AAU was created. Say what, Leaf?
No, I was on wait for you to finish. I just wanted to add a story.
AAU was created with the sense of I want of basically I want my kid to develop good qualities and play against a level of competition that they wouldn't in their high school or their middle school, because obviously there's not rankings but tiers to where you're allowed to the teams that you're allowed to go up against, like the schools you're allowed to go against. So this is a way for them to be able to better themselves and go up against high quality talent. That's one thing. And then they also created it so that it could be able to, like you were stating earlier, it could be able to allow some of these colleges to have a way of being able to go and see these players so that they could get more spotlight on them, because some of these kids, they in small towns, they need like little pushes like this for them to get the opportunity for them to be able to for them to showcase their talent to the proper brand, right? The problem is they don't have any rules and set for them to properly do that. So by the time some of these kids end up going up against the good to great talent that could be able to allow them to catapult into a realm that they otherwise wouldn't be able to, they're already damaged goods because they just finished playing 6 games in one day.
Well, hold on. So yeah, I agree. Playing 6 games one day is out of control.
Yes.
Especially for basketball, it's just too much. But as Mr. Randolph was saying earlier, is that the NCAA changed when they were allowed to see said players. Hence the reason why they made these showcases, and they have so many of these showcases for the AAU. Yeah, players need to be taken care of all the way up and down the board. The NBA can set aside some allocated funds to send down to help out, because I can guarantee you that the AAU is not receiving some of these said funds, and what these parents are paying for is just for their player to get a jersey and play, not for health or anything else. And that's going to be more. You're looking at maybe what they're paying, like $75, $100 to just have a jersey and play.
If I remember correctly, I think my mom had to pay upwards of like $250.
Yeah. So
how much were you paying
$250? What was the insurance?
Because you're not just paying. You're paying for your kid to be on the team. You're also paying for the jerseys, the away and the home and away jerseys. You're also paying for
depending
you're
on
also
what
paying for you're also paying for them like the money that the parents pay is going towards them being able to book gyms for you.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And then you're also and then I think the last thing that you're paying for is like what's one called, like snacks and stuff when you're going out of town.
Okay. That's great. I mean, if you're paying for a certain gym, you need to have a contract set for this is the AAU, because I know up here AAU teams have a specific gym that they go to, that they play at and they practice at. They've talked to it. I got one down the street. I don't know how good that team is, but it is what it is. Moving on. I just know they have a team there. And I was like, oh, y'all got a teammate? Oh, that's what's happening. Any of y'all play on this team? None of y'all play on this team? All right, whatever. As a ref, we see so much, like, this is not an AAU player. And this is not what I expect an AAU player to look like playing in a rec league and
Justin?
or in high school.
I wanted to add there was Austin Rivers had told a story about how Baller's Life basically came to him and said they wanted to do like a package and just that and the third or whatever, and he talked about how kind of the tide has changed over the years, but where the parents are going to Baller's Life and they basically paying and stuff like that. So I wonder, like, I didn't really like the whole AAU mentality and the whole AAU theme that's going on, and like basically making somewhat of a mark in the college basketball and the professional basketball, whether good or bad. I think it's at the end of the day, it's still making a mark. You know what I'm saying? But KG talked about how AAU ruined the league and didn't really get into the basis of it, but I guess from everything that y'all said about the coaches and the teams and everything that's going on, it seemed like they could definitely do better. They could definitely do a whole lot better than what they've been doing over the years. And,
they've done virtually nothing, and that's my problem.
Well, what I was going to add on to was what Rod said about the whole ball thing, because actually what Austin Rivers said, that actually is true, because I've seen it when I was reffing AAU this past summer. I've seen Ballers Vision, because I thought they stopped making videos, but I've seen people from Ballers Vision that will come, and as I'm going on to the court, you got them talking to specific parents about their kids, and basically hand them checks right there to basically record their kids. And also another thing I've witnessed, which, AAU, which is why I felt like AAU has turned into a showcase, is where you got parents who set up tripods in every single corner or set up their camera phones to record their kids for highlights, because you have coaches saying, colleges want, they want tapes of
highlights. Yeah, they want
highlights.
Yeah.
So,
but that's been going on forever, even before.
So no, I think I disagree. I disagree with that,
Rodney. It hasn't.
Yeah, I disagree with that, Rodney. I think this is a new thing.
Where people are recording.
With the parents. The parents specifically are being told, video your kid doing these games.
You need a highlight
because coaches from colleges want film rather than the businesses themselves, like Baller's Life, Baller Vision, so on and so forth. Actually going out and looking for these kids and videoing them themselves. They basically are just going straight to the parents and saying, hey, you want your kid to go to college for basketball? Film them playing the game. Send it to us of you filming them, and we'll take it from there. So that they could be able to save money for traveling. That's been something that's like sort of new. It's like
it's not a new thing. It's not a new thing. I tell you from personal experience, as a baller, when I came out of high school, the coach that I went to talk to said, I need to see video of you, because I haven't been able to see.
We're not talking about the coaches. We're not talking about the coaches. We're talking
about AAU.
Parents.
We're talking about Baller's Life, Baller Vision, the like the outlets No. Daryl's not talking about AAU per se. He's talking about how it sort of impacted like all of this, like all of these pieces play a role. He's talking about how the parents are playing a role now as well.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. Parents play a big role. But at the same time, to get to college, or to have these certain teams look at you, because some teams will not be able to get all the way to wherever you are. You have to understand that they don't have those scouts have a certain number of places that they're supposed to go. If it's on the way, they'll probably hit a heads up and say, hey, I'm gonna head over here real quick on the way to such and such place. Okay, it's on your route. That's fine. We can't allow you to do anything outside the norm because we don't have enough money to fund that.
You guys are not opposing each other right now. What we're talking is kind of two different things, really. Because Rob, you're right in that aspect. That has always existed. But what they're saying is a new kind of phenomenon that has happened. That the parents that these businesses have, influenced the parents to, like, the parents don't focus on hey, this is what I need to do to get my kid developed. Now they're just only focused on, let me get them on this particular team that's getting this kind of attention, and then I gotta use all this money to create a highlight film, which a highlight ain't real life. It's just, it's kind of, some of the highlight films I've seen, it's the player doing the same move from 5 different angles. But they're making it look like what the kid is better.
Talk about it.
On, instead of the emphasis being on the kid getting better. And so I want to share with you guys. So from a parent first, and then from running a league, a youth league, and kind of the reason why I run the league, I run it the way I do now, is because of the experience that Daryl had with his AAU experience. Because when he started, I was already coaching, but I had never coached at that level before. And so I got him involved with a quote unquote AAU coach. And after the fact, that was the worst thing that could have ever done to him, because I allowed this man to, impact him emotionally as a player. Now, he did teach skills, but it was the other things that came along with that package that tore him down as a player, which ended up affecting him later on in his career. Now, me being a parent, I just want him to, get exposed, and, it's all about toughness. It's about, this and that. I kind of went that angle. So I sat there and allowed this to happen right in front of me. When I had kept Daryl out of, travel ball for a year and trained him myself and went through the process, that had the biggest impact when he's played high school ball. That had bigger impact than anything he did with AAU, because we went through the process. We were in the gym every morning at 5, working and training. And he didn't have to deal with that emotional impact that coach, from the words they used to yell at him, the cussing, sitting them down, just pulling them out of the game after one mistake, all of that stuff, that was, and I think Daryl will share with you guys. I'm probably putting him on the spot a little bit, but I apologized to him a couple of years ago for exposing him to that, because, so I understand what the parents are thinking, because I thought I was doing what was best at the time. But now going through that process and now being able to navigate parents through the process, I can see the difference. And all of you have touched on it. The common theme between all of this is the parent. And when the parent is unknowledgeable, they become a breeding ground for these coaches that are, able to take advantage of them, because they're like, hey, I just want my kid to be the best. And I don't know how to get them there, but you do. And so they're going to trust them.
I agree, and I disagree from the standpoint of, like, I'm not putting it on, like, I'm not putting it, like, if it's like a percentage, I'll probably put like 10% on, like, the parents, from the standpoint of, like, most of the kids, like, I can, Daryl, I don't know your situation. I don't know about your situation, but I can speak for myself. Me and my friends, when we wanted to play basketball, It wasn't something that the parents were even knowledgeable of. So when they were approached with this idea, right? Like, I'm coming to my mom saying, "Hey, mom, I want to join this AAU team. I want to be a basketball player." she's sort of just like looking at it like, oh, it's just a hobby. So when she gets told, okay, for you to join this team, for me to join this team, I have to pay $250 of a deposit for me to get the jerseys, the warm-ups, shit like that. She's looking at it like, okay. And then you hear, okay, and then after you doing that, after I get done doing that, there's like a monthly fee so that you could be able to pay for the gym and stuff like that. And then she's looking at it like, nigga, am I paying a subscription? You know what I'm saying? And so from that standpoint, right? Like the parents, fair enough, Mr. Randolph, you're very educated in this realm, but majority of the parents are not, because they have their own lives, right? And as far as they're concerned, their kid, their son or daughter that wants to play basketball, it's just a hobby to them. They just want to go outside and play. So to them, they're looking at it from that standpoint. I'm paying for my kid to have fun with their friends. When in actuality, these coaches are taking advantage of the ignorance.
Ignorance.
So we're saying the same thing.
Y'all are saying exactly the same thing.
Y'all saying the same thing.
We're saying the same thing in that sense. Where I differ with you in is I think AAU takes culpability from the standpoint of they should have been setting rules a long time ago for some of this stuff to not go down.
Let me speak to that. So I 100% agree with that. That is an area that I'm glad that you touched on, because I believe you're right. I mean, same thing with NCAA, same thing with all these type of governing bodies. And we saw it happen in gymnastics when the governing body not putting into rules and safety. So you're right. I 100% agree with that. And in fact, you're making me want to reach out to AAU and have that conversation, because these groups and teams and everything are supporting them. I mean, they're pouring money into that organization so their tournament can be sanctioned by them. I mean, it's still the brand name, right?
Yeah.
Brand name. And so people want that on their tournaments, but at the same time, they're sitting back. They're not regulating. I think they hold some training, but not to the level of that they need. They're not regulating it. You can take this little online training and then like, yep, I got my AAU certification. Here's my number. Everybody that plays on the team has to have a number. That's all translated into money into their pockets. And so when you start taking away money from people's pockets, then you got a problem. So you're spot on.
I was gonna say, because like Justin, you mentioned, your experience with AAU. So like the experience I had was, like my dad was saying, this was because obviously like how the same goal I had was to play in the NBA, and coming into it, so the guy I played for, I originally wasn't even supposed to play AAU. I was just supposed to go. He was supposed to just be a trainer for me to just work out, and whatever league I played in, whether it was rec or like getting ready for high school, I could take those skill sets I got from him. Mm-hmm. The only reason why I ended up on his team is because when my dad took me to the first training session with him, he had some other kids from his team, his travel team there, and I put 50 on them. So
he did.
So I put 50 on them.
God damn.
That's how I ended up on the team.
Nigga dropping 50s out here, man. Stop
hey, Daryl can, if Daryl don't do nothing else, he can shoot you out of gym. I can promise you that.
So wait, your first time out there, like basically in that field, you basically saw that team and you put 50 on them fresh out the gate.
I had no idea this was the AAU team. My dad just told me, he was like, hey, there's a trainer here that's really good at basketball. He played for University of Hawaii and played in the G League. So we're going to send you over there to work out with him. He sent me there. The team was there practicing too. So he was like, you can just hop in and play. They kept stats because for whatever reason, he was the only coach I knew who liked to keep stats during scrimmages and practices. They kept stats of each player. They handed me my stat sheet. It said 50 right there.
Yeah, first time out playing this new team that was training, and and
Yeah.
you put up 50 on
He
him.
really finds this unbelievable right now.
Nah. Because the thing is, like, I'm like, I would like if he would have said, yo, we was out there for a few days, we was practicing, and I seen these players, and I'm like, yo, bro, I could score on every last one of them. If you would have said something along the lines of that, I'd have been like, yeah, all right. I mean, I guess, man.
I mean, but if you're playing and you're just running and you there's no organization in it, you're open. They just keep leaving you open. I'm gonna tell you like this: as a shorter player, people leave me open, which is very bad. Very bad. I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna have fun with it too. How many times have I done it, Daryl?
Yo, bro, listen, I ain't gonna
Well, have fun with you, and I'm just gonna keep shooting until I miss.
I haven't played
And Daryl
organized
talks
basketball.
shit, too.
I haven't
Let
played
Daryl,
organized
Rodney
basketball in
talks shit, too,
years,
so
bro. I'm
he
like,
be
I ain't gonna lie to you. Listen, I got a bad foot. I go out on the court, man. I'm gonna be out for like 2-3 weeks minimum.
Nah.
Like I'm AD, bro. Like I was paper mache, bro.
So basically back to what happened. Yeah, so I put 50 on them, and then he talked to my dad about, let him join the team. I go out there, went to a couple practices, and then because I wanted to play, I was like, you know what? I was like, I think this could be a good opportunity for me. So I played with the team, and I was coming off the bench, and it was like the first year I played with them, he had a thing where his main focus was to get ready to go to Vegas because there was always a huge AAU tournament in July where they had courts set up all over the hotel casino where you have some of the best like all around AAU prospects that you see on Ball is Life. Like I don't know if y'all remember like Pee Wee what was it? Pee Wee Parker or Gardner? I forgot the name, but all those big AAU and Balls Life people that had mixtapes back in 2012 and 2013. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll play. So I was coming off the bench the whole time for them, but I still was like an average score for them, getting at least like, 10 to 12 a game just coming off the bench, and my specialty was only to shoot the ball. So he wouldn't let me showcase everything I had. He would only basically say I was a sniper and my only job was to shoot behind the 3-point line. So later on down the line, when it came to playing for him, I was seeing limited minutes. I was still producing the same amount of points and time, but I was seeing less and less minutes for whatever reason. And when it came to the tournament, we went up against one of the best teams in Seattle in the 15U division, and he didn't even coach that game. My dad had to coach it, and Rodney can tell you how my dad coaches.
Hey, yo, y'all ever see Pop? Y'all ever see Pop just sit there on the bench? Just sitting there. That's Mr. Randolph. He ain't saying nothing. Everything he said at the beginning of the game is gonna happen every day, the whole way. He ain't gonna say nothing. He gonna do nothing but move. Just sit there. Good job.
So
good layup. Back on defense.
So fast forward to the part where you put up another 50.
Where you put up another 50.
This is what happened. So I was during that story. While I tell the story, I was actually mad at my dad for coaching that game because I had not seen the floor the whole game, and we were down by 1. Now, mind you, I didn't know we were down because the where the scoreboard was, it wasn't facing us. It was on the right next to the bench, so I couldn't see it. So I'm pissed the whole time, and he finally comes up to me and was like, "Hey, man, you feel like getting out there and hitting the shot?" Obviously, I do. Like, you got me sitting here in the freezing cold.
Hold on. He was upset, right? It was managing the game the way, the way it's all fit. And so, we shortened the rotation, right? And so I went up to him. I said, "Hey, I need you to hit a big shot." And I said, "Can you do it?" And yeah, he's kind of pouting. I'm like, "Dude, can you do it or what?" And so I'm like, "All right, get in the game." So the entire time he's in the game, I'm telling him, "Nope, don't drift up, stay right there." They went down up and down twice, and finally, I'm like, "Don't cheat in." When the ball switches to the other side, like the wing tries to cheat in a little bit, I'm like, "Don't cheat in. The ball is going to reverse back to you." And sure enough, the big got it at the elbow, and he turned opposite. Bam! Daryl's in the corner, wide open. He lets it fly, nothing but net. And then we take him out the game.
Pissed me off.
It was that shot.
This is a semifinal game.
You know what? And this is great. And you know what? This is great that y'all can talk about this right now, because I can tell Daryl by the sound of Daryl's voice, he wanted to get at you for this. Yeah, he been wanting to get at you for a minute for this.
It sounded like it was a long time coming.
Exactly.
Been walking around the house the whole time. I can't wait to get you on
he
this.
looking both ways like he crossing the street talking about, yo, I'm really not getting in this game when we down one. Like,
he like, man, I'm gonna let him know about himself as soon as we get there.
Like, bro, the second that this game is over, win or lose, bro, I'm gonna let all y'all know about yourselves right now, bro. Like,
it was that.
I got here for dropping 50.
It was that shot that turned the game. And, at that point, it was like, okay, you did what we asked you to do. And so we took him out of the game, finished the game up, and I'm like, dude, that was the biggest shot in Vegas. I'm telling you right now. And so, but, from a coach at his age at that time, and then from the coach's perspective, I get it. He didn't understand why, he wasn't out there the entire time. But that was a decision that was made at the time. And, like I said from the beginning, when I think back about what I allowed him to be exposed to what, that I could have done with him, that's why you're exactly right, Cass, that if, the parents have a little piece of it, but, the coaches and the organization itself, they all factor in to impact this. And if I had to play all of those over again, I would have done it differently.
And the thing was, I don't mean to cut you off. The thing is like after all that had went down, and when he said he put me in the gym at 5 a.m, like that next season, which was my sophomore year in high school, I was averaging 15 to 20 points that season, and then I wasn't even gonna go back to AAU. That was the plan, but my coach was begging me in AAU to come back. Because he saw the numbers. Obviously, he heard about the numbers I was putting up. Because we're living in Hawaii. The island's not that big. So you're gonna hear somewhere about who's like showing out. So he hit my dad and was like, look, I want him to play, and was offering my dad all these crazy deals. Like, I'll pay for all of it. He just gotta show up to practices. And obviously we took the deal because he offered to pay for it. But had we known we was taking that deal, that I was just going to sit the bench and not touch the floor one time, then
The devil. He wanted him not to play.
Sound like a lot of shady business practices going on.
He didn't want him to play for another team to play against him. That's basically what it boiled down to. So anyway, that I learned my lessons from that, and so I try to share that with the parents that I deal with today. That they're all sold in on this AAU stuff, and then they bring the kid to me and they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, do you want the truth?
No, for real. What you really want to know? What you really want to do? Are you ready for the truth?
They don't want to know the truth. They don't. And as a ref, like, what can my kid work on? Well, I done already told him he needs to work on his dribble.
I don't think what's crazy, Rob? I don't think that they don't want to know the truth. I think that they don't know what to do with the truth.
Yeah,
that sounds a little bit more better.
I don't think that they don't want to hear the truth, because I don't think that this really hurts the parents. Actually, this benefits the parents because it's money that they get to save in their pockets. I think they don't know what to do with the truth, because once you tell them that this team is not the team for them, they don't know the other options that are out there, right? Because remember, again, most of these parents, they're not knowledgeable. They're not as knowledgeable as Mr. Randolph when it comes to the AAU scene. So they don't know that there's like 10, 15 other teams in your area that are ready for your kids.
After hearing that story, bro, I solely wish, bro, you was a dunker instead of a shooter. That way you could dunk on one of them niggas, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Just make it, bro.
Oh,
Somebody
no.
need to get kneed in their face, bro, for what happened to you. A whole tiger knee, bro. Like, but I'm dead serious. Like Street Fighter, Sagat with the eye patch, bro. Tiger knee right to somebody's face, dunk on them, right in practice.
So let me share one more thing with you guys, and then I got to run off.
Yes, sir.
So with the league that I'm running, I eventually I want to break off and have a travel component, right? And so I've had multiple travel team coaches contact me saying, "Hey, let's get together. Let's, you can send some players my way. I can help you out. I can do. And so, I mean, I know the headhunters, right? So I kind of keep my distance from them because of what I'm trying to do as a whole. But when I went to them last year, I went to all of them and I said, "Hey, look, why don't you guys bring your programs under EPWBA, which is Eastern Prince William Basketball Association? Bring it all." And I said, "We've been around since 1972. We're well known in the community. Bring it all under one roof." And to your point, Cash, about regulating. And so at that point, I'm like, we will determine what the fees are for the players, and I will pay the coaches a stipend so they don't have to worry about the parents don't have to worry about paying the coach, because they pay for the coach's travel, the hotel, the gas, food, everything. I'm going to give you a stipend, right? But now you're regulated by the rules of our league, and coaches training, all of the stuff that's kind of all packaged up into one. Now you can still have the name of your team, but you will all be under the covering, if you will, of the league, and then the league will handle all of the financial aspect of it and all that stuff because it's already established. And not one of them
Oh, no.
wanted to do it because they felt like it was taken out of what they wanted to do. And so that's what lets me know right then and there that, hey, these guys are not, they're not up to any good. And so I don't associate with them. I don't recommend anybody. League, they'll come to me, "Hey, do you know any AAU programs around here? Any travel teams?" There's plenty of them, but I'm not going to recommend anybody.
Because they're ultimately gonna do you dirty.
Yeah,
In the
exactly.
long run.
See, I really like how Mr. Randolph does his league, because it's you don't just pick a team, you get picked on a team. Like,
Yeah,
you're
we
not
have
staying with that same
bring all
team
the
next
talent
year.
in and
Nah.
evaluate and all that stuff. So
And they
we
have
try-
training camps and stuff, and I'm like, yo, that's beautiful. Because you're teaching them, you're giving them opportunity to showcase themselves.
And they're not, and that,
be
yeah, and
great.
they have. I think that is a beautiful way of going about it, because there's one thing that I wish I would have had as a kid. I wish I would have had more opportunities to be able to make those proper mistakes so that I could be better for them.
Yeah.
So when you're playing with these ultra talented teams, or you're playing with these teams that the coach is biased towards, so he's going to give such and such more minutes than you, you're not able to be a better player because you're not getting the minutes for you to be able to showcase what you have, what you need to improve on, make those mistakes so that you could be better the next game. So when you join you having them join different teams every season, that is a beautiful thing. And I wish that I hope that it ends up spreading more globally, because that's a great idea to do.
And I'm gonna give you and Marcus, that was on our show last week, both y'all flowers of what y'all did with EPWBA, and that's because one thing I'll say to all you guys that are listening, and even to us that's on here talking on the panel, is that you see a lot of rec league leagues who either do co-ed basketball, where they say, yeah, it's invited for boys and girls, but you see them all the time like start the boys and just like throw the girls out there just to get playing time, so they can say, yeah, my daughter, yeah, we put your daughter on the court, but they don't really try and develop them. And you don't really see girls basketball players, like, unless they solely you know, get trained like at an early age, but you see majority of them who want to play, but their parents just don't know where to get them at. And then you start seeing girls like just now first starting playing in middle school or in high school on all girls teams. They've started this league at an early age for all these girls at early ages to start getting the development at like ages 8, 9 years old, so they can get to better understand how to play the fundamentals. So where I've refed in this league and I've even trained some kids as well, and I'm seeing a lot of these girls, even like the boys too, from an early age as 8 to where now they're in middle school, and I'm seeing them play at the top of their, class. And, I just want to say y'all have done a tremendous job with this league, because there's a lot of these players out here who really had no skill set at all at the beginning, but once they've left, they've, flourished every year.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. Marcus will tell you we both we don't take any money for what we do, but we probably put in about 60 hours a week running it. We impact about 700 to 750 kids each year, and it's just for what we've been talking about. We want them to have a great experience because it is the grassroots of the sport. And I take it personally when we have a volunteer coach that gives a kid a bad experience. And I have dismissed multiple coaches. It's pretty bad when you're a volunteer and you get dismissed from a volunteer league, but I don't have a problem doing that, because I think we all, including you guys as officials, I appreciate when you and Rod come out and officiate and help teach the kids, because it's the parents, it's the coaches, it's the officials, it's everybody working together that's going to develop these kids. So I appreciate you guys for that. And with that, hey, the Hoops podcast, man, you guys are pretty awesome. I hope I get a chance to get back to come out and hang out with you guys. I got to jump off, but I appreciate the time. And Zeno, no hard feelings.
You probably sleep.
Well, I'm here. I have no hard feelings with you. I like talking basketball, so having that convo was nice, man.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. I really enjoyed this, so I'll definitely be. And like I told you guys earlier, I'll try to get some other guests lined up to come on and chat with you guys. So
we
we're waiting for these people from Houston to come through.
Thank you very much for that.
All right. All right, guys. We'll see you later.
All right, OG.
Stay safe.
Man. Chat, to give you context, on me, Rod, and Daryl had a lot of late nights last year where we stayed up just debating like the nuances of the game, like AAU, the status of AAU, how important these young kids like Zion and them playing ultra minutes from high school on, well, hell, even middle school on, all of those things. And OG Mr. Randolph was at the forefront of it. So yeah, no, shout out to him. We've been wanting him on the show for like a while, right, Rod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely need an OG on.
W. Daryl for getting picked. W. Daryl.
Thank you for convincing him. Thank you for convincing him.
Yeah,
that was definitely highly educational about the AAU establishment and everything that goes on the AAU today. And I think anybody that's looking to try to get into it, man, like they could definitely take nuances from that.
Yeah. All right, so we got three topics to go. We will into the show, getting into it, but we got some NBA basketball to talk about, right? So over this past week, right, the San Antonio Spurs, specifically Wembanyama, has put himself into a stratosphere that is very rare. He is on path to be the first rookie All-Star since Blake Griffin back in 2010. That's how elite he's been playing.
That's very good company too. By the way.
Absolutely.
Wait,
Absolutely.
didn't Luca and Trey get rookie also?
Not as
I
rookie.
don't think
No,
Luka
no,
got it.
no,
No,
not
no,
a
no,
rookie.
they didn't.
Not as
Not
rookies. Not a
rookie.
rookie.
Not as
No,
rookie.
they got a sophomore.
Now they got it as a sophomore years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Real quick, I wanna get to Daryl. Daryl,
Yeah.
I want to start with you. I want you to tell us which teams have had the best start to the season and which teams have struggled out the gate.
To me, as far as struggled out the gate, I probably would say Miami. They've definitely struggled out the gate because what we saw them do last year in the playoffs, as you know, we was all saying Jimmy is him. Right now, this team is struggling, and I think what they're dead last in the East right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No, they are nice.
I thought they. Oh, did they win? They must have won.
They are 2-4. They are 2-4.
Who's the worst?
Wizards are the worst, which we should probably not be shocked about.
Gotcha.
well, that's nothing to even talk about. So that's why I'm saying that's why I'm saying Miami right now. And then starting off the best right now, honestly, it was no surprise like about what Denver is doing. What Denver is doing, I mean, they had that one loss. Who was it against?
It was against
Timberwolves?
Minnesota.
Yeah. But I think Minnesota, you know, they were in there hungry because they wanted to actually get a win in after what happened last year in the playoffs. But those the two teams. I don't think Denver has lost a beat since, you know, last season. I think they're still on the same pace, even with like the moves that I questioned they made. They still look phenomenal. But Miami, as far they need to fix something out there because I did not expect to see what I did with this team with them struggling. I don't know if it's because you know Struce isn't there and Vincent ain't there. That's why all of a sudden they're struggling. But there's something in the water over there in the beaches of Miami that needs to get tested if that team wants to be back alive.
Well, I would go with in terms of the surprise team, Dallas. They was able to start out 4-0 until they lost against Denver, and I like to reiterate what I said a year ago. I think Luka Doncic is basically the 6'7" version of Nikola Jokic, realistically, bro. Because the thing is, with his scoring and his playmaking ability, has to be accounted for, and he's pretty much probably the best all around offensive talent at the point guard position that I think we probably seen. You know, in terms of his ability to play out of the post, play 15 feet away, play away from the basket, play on the 3-point line, and call his own number and control. Basically, he plays at his own speed all the time. I seen it, man, when my Nets basically gave up 49 to him, and we refused to get the ball out of his hand because Jacque Vaughn was basically hot at night. I don't know what's going on. In terms of the worst team, it obviously have to be Memphis, bro. Obviously, with the injuries that they have, Steven Adams being gone for the whole season, that's definitely a big X off right there. Brandon Clark being out, that's definitely, and Ja Morant, aka Ja Wick, basically being out for the 25 games that he's out there. Listen, if this team don't make a flip soon, everybody's starting to feel bad for Marcus Smart. I personally don't. You reap what you sow in this league, man. Like if you Marcus Smart, man, with all of the flopping and all of this carrying on that he's been doing. In terms of other best teams, if anybody had Boston, I give absolutely no respect for them because we're not going to grade them off of what they do in the regular season. We're going to grade them off of what they do in the playoffs. And me personally, I know what they do in the playoffs is not going to be much because they got 2 Scottie Pippens.
And it's 50-50. 50-50 Tatum. You don't like 50-50 Tatum?
No, I don't. No, it's more 25-75 Tatum, bro. Once it gets in the postseason,
I call him 50-50 because one night he good, one night he not.
yeah, nah. Well, that's a good name for it. That's definitely a good name for it. But listen, everybody knows up here the Boston Celtics got 2 Scottie Pippens, bro, and that shows in the playoffs, bro, because they're not going to be great at all what they do in the regular season. From their regression from the finals to the conference finals is a regression that I've seen before over the years. I've seen this episode of Friends before, bro, and it's the same episode all and all over again, bro. And then the Boston Celtics is going to continue that trend. History always repeats itself. But that's my 2 teams right there. I have Dallas as a surprise team, which probably not going to last. But the most embarrassing team right now is definitely Memphis.
Okay, W. Zeno, we're gonna go with you, and then Rodney, you get to wrap it up because I'm coming to you with the topic in a second.
Ooh, not
feel like there's
Yeah, I'm coming to you with a topic in a second. Zeno, go ahead.
I'm almost certain that there's a team that has not won a game yet.
That's the one
that's Memphis.
That's Memphis Grizzlies. Oh wait, that is the most. Wait, someone's talking about the Grizzlies already.
Yeah, not Zeno. Leaf just
talked
spoke
about
about it.
I thought you said someone. All right, never mind.
Dang,
well,
is this the first time
Grizzlies-
Zeno wasn't paying attention? I actually did.
Yeah, I guess
Actually, it is.
Oh wow! Let's go ahead and clip that. Let's go ahead and clip that, please, chat. Thank you. Clip that.
It's not rare that Zeno's not paying attention, but it's rare that Zeno's not paying attention and Daryl is. W Daryl. Go ahead, Zeno.
That's all I have to say is I would say the Grizzlies is one of them. Well, I think to be fair, I think it's kind of obvious why though, because they lost a lot of what would have made them.
This nigga's giving bailout, guys.
I'm not giving bailout because my reasoning for them being better than they are is because of the fact that they will have everyone there, not losing their best. What's called Steven Adams which would help them on the boards, and losing Brandon Carr, who also helps them on the boards. So like they lost a lot and defensively. So they lost a lot of that. That's the issue. I'm actually kind of surprised that the Trailblazers are 3-3. That's what's blowing me. I'm like, what? They're actually mid of the pack? When? Where? How? But if I'm gonna actually give my actual surprise for this season, one is the Bucks. Oh boy. I was waiting to talk about the Bucks.
You nasty son of a gun.
The Bucks being this ass. Yeah.
Hop off,
the offense looking quite sloppy. Not running Giannis and Dame PNR situations much more. They've not done that. They're trying to make it more free flowing for some weird reason. And then on the defensive end, we thought that yes, their defense wasn't going to be great, but we thought it was going to be good enough.
What is Leaf doing?
They thought it was going to be good enough. I wasn't good, but then it turns out really and truly that we realized that at a certain point, losing not having a POA defender, having one of the worst guard defenders in the league as well in Damian Lillard can really disrupt everything that you work for.
That definitely is true, and I wanted to avoid the Bucks because I figured at some point they were going to get back on track. I don't think they have been as disappointing as the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have been absolutely dog water, like hot cheese. At this point, they need to move back to Vancouver. But Milwaukee, I
damn.
Yeah. I think, but
no hesitation.
Yeah, no hesitation at all, bro. Like you know how I get down, but I think Milwaukee at some point could get it together, bro. My disdain and my bloodthirst and disdain for the Boston Celtics, bro, like reigns supreme over any embarrassment that the Milwaukee Bucks franchise team right now is doing, bro. Like I can't stand them. I wish them nothing but the worst.
Your hatred is like your hatred for some of these people.
I didn't even get to give off my what's called my surprise.
I'm like, how the fuck did Leaf end up getting the mic back? Like,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I let you slide, and I was like,
my bad, Zeno.
What happened to me? bro.
How the fuck did he just
I'm
end
not
up
gonna-
getting the mic back?
I'm not gonna lie to you. W for actually being able to slide in without me paying attention. I ain't close.
Slide in.
No.
is
I
Pause,
actually
pause,
I actually
pause,
thought you
pause.
was finished, bro. Like I was like,
No,
all
no.
right, man, maybe you made the point about the Milwaukee Bucks being
Right,
embarrassing.
you talk about some
That and
non-game.
the Warriors. That and the Warriors. The Warriors is my surprising, specifically for me. I didn't
That's
have the
another
Warriors
team that
being that
disgusts me.
high. I didn't have the Warriors that
You just hate
specifically
Steph.
high.
That's what that is.
And then
So
I
we not
realized
gonna
that
acknowledge
like
all the
their
movie strings
offense
that
has
get away
been
with.
pretty much free flowing as usually is. They're not having the defensive woes that they had last season. Chris Paul has been giving them a different type of dynamic, that constant being able to do pick and roll situations with the bench unit and just being quite decent as a playmaker. Now scoring, we don't talk about that. Hey, actually, let's talk about CP3's three-point shooting. Hey,
Stop it.
Cash-
Stop it
casual,
right now.
casual.
You're being
my
nasty.
God.
I have a
Is
question.
it? Is it?
I have a question.
Wait. Now let's get to that. Is it in the
You're
dump?
being nasty.
Is it
He
in the-
already
is it in
gone.
the
You're
dump?
being nasty.
Is it in the dump?
Casual, I have a question for you.
I need to
Casual.
know if it's in the dump.
What is your what's called? How much do you think he's shooting from free?
How much do I think who?
Chris Paul is shooting from free.
Isn't he shooting
By the
like
way, by the way,
isn't he shooting
by
like
the-
4%?
Exactly. He's shooting 4.8% on 4 attempts. Oh
Yeah.
boy. Oh, I love it. This. Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Chris
getting
Paul is-
CP3 out, getting CP
Chris
out.
Paul. Now all right. Throwing Bell to Chris Paul. Chris Paul has fallen more and more into the idea of sort of playing a miniature Draymond role when he's on the floor with Curry, or even like no matter who's on the floor, like within the system, he's taking more of a Draymond role as far as being more of a playmaker than an offensive player. But even Draymond is not shooting this terrible from the 3-point line. And Draymond has more rim pressure than Chris Paul, and that's crazy.
Wait. Y'all said 4%?
He's shooting
Yes,
4.8%
4.8% on 4
like
attempts.
Draymond.
Man,
has
will y'all
more
leave
than-
this 80-year-old man alone? Jesus
No,
Christ.
no,
I
He's
will
still
not. He
running.
need to get his 80-year-old ass off the court, bro. The hell with him, bro. Like he's
And
done.
why? They
No,
say
no,
5-1. He healthy.
Because
has
he's
a-
shooting
okay,
4%,
he has a
bro.
place-
That's why. I don't give a
He
damn if
has
they
a
4
place
5
on
and 1.
the,
I
he has
don't
a
hold
place
nothing.
on the court though. He has
He
a place
has
on the
a
court.
place in the league, I won't lie, but it's dwindling, and I can't wait
Yeah.
for it to end.
I can't wait to the end neither, bro, because I'm gonna be
Both
right
of
there.
y'all-
Stomp
yeah,
on
both
it.
of y'all
Are
tag
y'all
teaming.
CP3 haters? Is that what I'm looking
Hey,
at?
I wouldn't
Leaf
necessarily call
is-
myself a
Leaf is-
hater, bro. I would
the
call
Leaf
myself
is
more
a truther.
disdain.
A
But
truther.
it's
That's how I
it's-
put
no,
Leaf
no,
is a
it's
hater. Zeno
bro,
just
like
trolling
my
him.
disdain for a lot of these players that's not unwarranted. The shit that they have gotten away with over the years, bro, absolutely pissed me off, bro. Like, especially the Golden State Warriors as a whole, bro. Like the shit that they all 4 their championships are Mickey, bro. Everybody has heard me say that, bro. Like, listen, like on record, bro. Like, but everything that they get away with, everything that they get away with, and everything that they continue to get away with, absolutely pissed me off. And nobody is pointing out the injustices in the league, bro. Like with them and LeBron James and all these other players that have been getting away with a lot of horse shit for years, and arguably one of the most overrated decades of basketball, the 2010s, bro. Nobody acknowledges but me.
Okay, sorry to cut you off, but let's just talk about what the people said in the chat. Up the Score says that they're most important.
Hop off.
One of the
Wow.
most what's called the surprising is the Mavs. Understandable. Luke has been playing like the MVP this season, and then
He
the
didn't
Bucks
say
is the
that.
disappointing.
He didn't.
But-
I don't think that's what he said. He just
That
said Mavs
I'm
were Bucks. He didn't
pretty
clarify
sure
what he
I'm
said.
pretty sure that would be the reason. Sorry that you couldn't clearly say
Hey,
that.
hey, up the score. Please clarify what you mean. Which one was the most, most impressive?
No. Up the score. Hop off.
No, stop!
it's-
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Anyway,
Oh yeah,
Justin, that's just mean, bro. Come on,
y'all
man.
so
Justin,
nasty.
Nah,
you
cause
work for that.
y'all over here getting on the Bucks like the Bucks are supposed to.
Like I
And they
said,
just
I refuse to get on the Bucks, bro.
Not you. Zeno and Up the Score, bro. Y'all are who I know is running the Up the Score channel. Y'all are nasty, bro. The Bucks are not.
Wait, is that Zeno? Is that Zeno? You're so nasty, bro. You're so
Y'all
nasty
are so
for that.
nasty, bro. Like y'all acting like this wasn't like a huge transition. Like this is crazy. I'm not doing this with y'all, bro. Hop off.
Wow.
Rodney. All right, Rodney. I want your 2 picks, and then I'm just gonna go right into this topic that I want you to kick off.
Okay. So I'm gonna go first off. I'm gonna go with the Magic. They have been very surprising lately. They're playing suit very well. Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero, amazing, amazing. Hey, even Suggs was actually looking like he actually belonged in the league now. It was weird.
Talk about
It
it.
was so weird. I was like, damn, did he just nutmeg him? He nutmegged him and got the assist. I was like, oh, okay, sir.
I hate
when
to
did you
agree
come
with
from?
Rodney. I hate to agree with Rodney after I saw that game last night that they blew my Lakers out. So
Hey, D'Lo looked like he
You
was
do
supposed to
know
be back
why.
on the
You
bench
do know
again.
why that happened.
D'Lo looked like he need to be back on the bench. I'm just saying.
Well, the thing with the Lakers is clear as day, bro, that they need consistent help from the referees to come out of games, bro. Like, and
wait, who invited him to this again?
You agreed to it. That's what's up, Lee.
it's definitely true. Outside of D'Lo, bro, who shows that he can shoot well in spurts, bro, obviously, but consistently they need help from the referees to get out of games. Obviously LeBron is a cosign scorer now, but because when he gets up, when he at this point in his career, he's a cosign scorer. He's he's always been an opportunity scorer, but now he's a cosign scorer, bro. Like because when they get leads, bro, that's when LeBron is coming along and he's carrying along and he gets all the credit, man, for a lot of these wins that he doesn't really deserve, bro. Like over the years, bro, like been piss poor on defense, obviously, bro. Like, and then continues to co-sign and bro, like try to piggyback on wins. It's just disgusting, bro. Like, the Lakers as a whole is disgusting, bro. Like,
Zeno,
take that off there. Take that off there, Zeno.
Of the score.
Stop
Zeno,
it, Zeno.
right. Through the first couple of games, Tyler have been better than Dame. So yes, clearly what I said was great. Clearly what I said was great.
I like it. I like it how Zeno makes the comment and then
he said
says
Tyler
the
Hero,
comment.
He said
This
Tyler
is
Hero.
you.
That's a low
Just
blow.
stop. You doing too much.
I'm not doing
you doing too much.
I'm trying.
You're
I
doing
was
too
explaining
much.
something. You try to act like it wasn't it. So I had
Why are
to
y'all
explain
trying
it to you so you
Why
understood.
do y'all want to depress?
Anyway,
Yeah,
you
Don't do
make
that.
you
Don't
depressing
do
that man
that.
over there.
Don't do that. Because when it was my team, you guys were tapped out to the migraine.
Why are y'all doing this? Like, what did I do to y'all? Like,
tap dance on anytime Philly had issues. You was tap dancing and
that's every year though, so there's nothing you can do about that.
but I waited until the year was over for me to do it. Y'all doing it?
Yeah, we really had conversation. We only really started talking after the year ended. Don't do that.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I didn't start talking shit about him until after that shit.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not like you, and I can tell you this now. Giannis is washed. Giannis is not top 5 anymore.
Giannis is washed.
He is not top 5.
Giannis is washed.
He is not top 5. He is not top 5.
No. Okay. So he's not top 5 no more. He's not top 5.
He's top 10. He's top 10, not top 5.
Who's the 5 better than him?
You already know he put Embiid in there.
We start off with if B's gonna be fit.
Once you say Kevin Durant or Devin Booker, bro, this conversation.
Wait, I wanted him to say whatever he says, and then I'm gonna hit my last joint real quick. Go ahead.
Jokic.
It's gonna be Jokic, Curry, Luka.
Who's that 5th person?
It's gonna be Jokic, Luka, Steph. I think Kawhi is there, and then Embiid. That's what I think. If you honestly believe that Kawhi is not there, I don't know what to say to you.
Kawhi is not better than Giannis overall.
This
I ain't
season.
gonna lie to you right now. I ain't gonna lie to you right now. Kawhi ain't playing. Hold on. Kawhi ain't playing better than Paul George right now. So please stop.
Okay. Hey. Even if you want to say that, cool. Paul George is better than him.
You foolish.
You can't, and you have to agree.
All right. So with my last pick,
by the way, Paul George is averaging 25, 5-5 or 50-40-90 splits. By the way, right now. Just to let y'all know.
If he says that so far in these 5 games he hasn't been playing like a top 5 player, I'm cool. But you saying he's not top 5?
I think PG has definitely been playing like
because we're talking about this. Because we're talking about this season. Hello.
No, that's not what you said. No,
the way that you made it sound. You made it sound like overall.
Justin. Listen to me. You can fool everyone else on this panel, but me and you both know how I speak about basketball. Do not do this to me. You can fool Ronnie because you're doing it to me. Why are you trying to defend me? Because Ronnie will go head and toes for you and actually defend you. I know
I
what you think about.
win. Daryl,
I know.
please
I
explain
know.
to this man that I have no fucks given. I
No,
don't.
he doesn't.
He does not because
Dog, Rodney
because
don't
I
pick and
was
choose sides.
no he's clearly picking and choosing because clearly right now I was if you
I'm
heard what I
picking
was saying,
Giannis's side. That's it.
well, it's Giannis these five games this season. It's
Yeah,
clearly not
if
a
you
top 10 player.
nah,
Top
but the
five, top
audience
five.
doesn't know that. So to them, you know what? Second thought, keep that thought because I'm making this into a short. Fuck it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Bet, nigga.
We are definitely making this into
fuck.
a short.
I'm making this into a short. You're going on TikTok, buddy. You're
Keep in
going.
mind-
But
Keep in mind,
however,
you're gonna make a short where I didn't get to really explain my reasoning, but hey,
I would
Well,
just like
whose
to
fault
say,
is that? Should have left Giannis alone.
I would just
You're
like to
off,
say, bro, like the Giannis is not top 5 anymore. That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like absolutely, like
And he knows it's crazy. That's why he said
within
it.
these last 5 games, bro. Like if you want to say he's 4 or 5, he's been playing 4 or 5. Maybe that might be a little bit, but at the same
he's
time,
definitely
I
not
would-
playing 4-5. If you've been watching the Bucks games, you've seen that his defensive value hasn't been the same.
Well, you know what?
You've
We
seen
just
that
we
he's
just gonna blame that on Dame, bro. Like that's what we're gonna do, bro.
No,
Like
no.
Dame takes a
We're
part
not
of the
doing this.
blame, but
We're not
with
doing this
Giannis-
because
I'm
you're
giving
not
Dame
gonna
100%
get
of the
you're not
blame.
gonna do 4-5, and then when I explain it to you, you're gonna whip it to Dame. No. On Giannis,
This is not a
Giannis is not
conversation,
aggressive.
bro. Like it's
No,
not.
Giannis has not been nearly as aggressive as he usually is. I mean, when he has the ball in his hands. I know right now they're trying to go through that phase where Dame is having the ball more in his hands and he's trying to do If you've been watching Giannis has been taking way more mid-range shots than you think he has. I see Giannis, I can't remember what game it was. I was seeing him take post fade after post fade.
That was literally the last game. That was literally the last game they just played.
Okay,
That was Toronto as well.
Exactly. So don't do that. And he's been doing this. He's been doing this as well. He also did this in the Philly game as well. So this is not normal. This is not a new thing. He's been doing these post moves, which he's not been doing correctly. So I don't know what to say to you. If he's getting in the post and he's missing consistently, not being a threat from there, he's in transition. He's not looking to be as aggressive as he usually is. He is getting downhill and actually finishing it. I'm not going to deny that. But he's not doing that since last year. As good as he did last year. He's not as good as he was last year in half-court situations. So offensively, he's not as good. His playmaking is fine. I'm not going to shit on his playmaking. And then on the defensive end, he's not looking nearly as good as he was last year. How was he a top 5 player? I'm so confused.
If you saying and again, I will say, if you're
For these
saying
past
right,
5 seasons,
if you're
Okay.
saying for these last 5 games,
yeah,
okay,
5 games.
but that's not what's going to be on the short. What's going to be on the short is
I know, nasty.
What you said, nasty.
So he gonna
Yeah.
he's definitely gonna put that Giannis not top barely top 10 on the short.
and that's it. It'll be a 3-second clip, and then and so Rodney got your pick for I believe it's
Surprise. My surprise was Orlando.
Okay, yeah, the team that's struggling, right?
My team that's struggling, Phoenix.
That's a good pick as well.
Phoenix.
Oh wait,
They are the disappointing team, right?
They are very disappointing. Even when Booker came back, it just doesn't. It's not.
If
what we
you lose
expected.
twice in 1 week to a 19-year-old, bro, like that's something to be said, bro. Like definitely.
Yeah,
Like,
they
come
got
on.
that. They got their ass spanked twice. That's crazy.
Like that's a college team, bro. Like you got let you lost to twice, bro.
Okay,
You know?
college
not
team
it.
is. I mean, college team is a bit too much. Let's.
By age average, bro, that's a college team.
Yeah, as an
No,
age,
I thought you meant-
Lucas is young.
I thought you mean as like a team in conglomerate because I was thinking
Oh,
college team.
As a team as conglomerate, we don't know who they are right now, bro. But on age average, that's a college team.
Okay, yeah,
But
fair enough.
As far as Phoenix, they have a lot of things that they need to work on.
Oh yes, they have a lot of question marks. The Bradley Beal injury that's up in the air right now in terms of his back. Nobody really knows how bad that situation is, and nobody knows the timetable of his return, bro. Like, and the fact that they basically got demolished hand over fist with Devin Booker in the lineup, bro, and Wemby having the outing that he had, bro. Like, realistically, I never really paid attention to like what Wemby was really doing that night, even though I did kind of, but just to rub it in a lot of Kevin Durant's fan faces. But the real problem here is definitely the Suns going forward, bro. Like this is supposed to be a contender. This is supposed to be the
It's
team
not
that's
a
supposed to be
not a
mid,
contender looking team.
the mid Western Conference Finals, bro. I just don't see it, bro. Right now, it's embarrassing to say the Lakers look like they're 10 times better than that team than what they
Hey,
displayed.
okay. So, Rodney, with you bringing up Phoenix, I want to ask you this question: Are you open to this conversation of Devin Booker being better than Kevin Durant now? Are you ready for it?
Wait,
You're
wait,
so
wait,
nasty,
Justin?
bruh.
Wait, hold on. I got to interfere in this, bro. Hold on. Wait,
Rodney.
Justin? Just are we basing this off of this past couple of games?
Yo, this is the issue. Nah,
No.
go ahead.
I've been saying this since.
He has.
I've been saying this since Devin Booker, or since 2023 season before KD came.
Right.
I was saying that Devin Booker is a top 10 player now.
So
And-
since
No.
I've known him, he
I
has.
agree with you.
Above
I agree with
KD.
you with the top 10.
No. Let me finish. So I say he was a top 10 player before KD got traded. Right can tell me
Agreed.
this. So then, after KD got traded, when Chris Paul was gone, and it was just D Book and that, like, basically, and DeAndre Ayton, because KD didn't come back. Chris Paul was still hurt. I said an argument can be made that D Book is on the same level as KD. KD comes, he shows like towards the end of the regular season that he's still that dude. Blah, blah,
I
blah.
would like to add something to that.
And then the postseason comes and D Book elevates, albeit only 11 games. These 5 games, D Book has only played 2 games, but the 2 games that he has played, I think we all can agree D Book looks like a better player than Kevin Durant currently. So that's why I'm asking, are you guys ready to have that conversation?
You know what? I would like to start that conversation by saying, bro, I was told that the Devin Booker that played last year in the playoffs with those numbers, I was told that that's not the real Devin Booker. But I mean, needless to say, is he going to replicate that performance in this year's playoffs or not? Man, that remains to be seen. But based off the 2 games, I guess if you want to go by number to number, things of that and those type of nuances, man, like maybe you could say that, but saying Kevin Durant has regressed out of the top 5, bro, like, it's not a bad thing. The common denominator.
He's not a top 5 player. Don't think I'm saying that.
No. I think that spot probably belongs to sorry ass Jason Tatum, bro. Like, if you really want to be real, bro. Like, but
50-50.
Yeah. 50-50, bro. Like him. Yeah, that's a good name for him. But
can that nigga go through the full season first before I say that?
What Jason Tatum?
Yes, can that nigga come through the full season before
I don't care what he do during the season.
All right, so let me ask you this. So you don't think Jason Tatum was top 5 coming into the season?
No.
All right, so who's your top 5?
Jokic, Giannis, Curry, Luka, Embiid.
I had that same top 5 as well.
And Anthony Davis is at the 6th spot, so Jason Tatum was sitting at the 7th.
Wait,
yes.
AD at the 6th spot. Oh yeah,
AD's at the 6th spot, and Tatum is at the 7th.
Yeah, that's a lot of humming over there, bro.
Long as he stay healthy, he good.
Yeah,
but like you saying, if bro, like if it was a split, we all be out.
I always say if when it comes to LA.
He was healthy last
I
year.
say if when it comes to anything LA related.
He was healthy last year, and he's been healthy this year.
You're right.
He has been healthy for 50-some games. I'll give you that. But the 65 games is the minimum. The 65 games is the minimum. But listen, to say I said that to say, listen, where Jason Tatum is headed, especially this season with the playmaking abilities.
Oh, you're right.
He's about 56.
With the playmaking abilities belonging solely to Drew Holiday now, and him basically playing in scoring motion and basically attack motion almost all the time and rebounding the defense. I think Jason Tatum is going to make that leap. I know he's a fake Kobe in the playoffs and he's a piece of shit, but I think he's going to make that leap as far as the regular season goes.
You're not lying, but god damn.
As far as
killing me,
yeah. It's like, see, I'm a person that can acknowledge that a player can make a leap, but like just acknowledge that, like, and when he gets in certain spots in the playoffs, he's gonna resolve to a piece of shit, and we all kind of know it. But getting to the Devin Booker and the KD situation, I think that Kevin Durant regression. Although it's very, very exciting for me to see. Devin Booker. I've been on record as saying that
Oh
Devin
my
Booker.
god.
I've been on record as saying Devin Booker, bro. Like it may be a better player performer, bro. And maybe a better postseason performer than Jason Tatum. I have been on record saying that, and I have been on record saying that. Devin Booker's ability to basically get to his spots and not be pushed off a lot out of his spots more so than Jason Tatum, bro, like is one of the reasons as to why I had him over Jason Tatum, bro. Obviously, Jason Tatum has the defensive aspect, but and obviously Devin Booker has flashed as a playmaker, in big moments and big games. He's definitely flashed, and I think he will continue to ascend as a playmaker. And his defense definitely has improved in terms of his effort, in terms of him getting in the passing lanes and making and putting a lot more effort on defense as well. I think Jason Tatum, obviously in the rebound aspect, bro, like he has made strides in that, but if I had one to choose, I'd definitely choose Devin Booker over both Jason Tatum and Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant the dissension and his basically the beginning of the end for Kevin Durant is starting to show, and more so than Steph Curry, but was just another individual that gets away with a lot of bullshit. But I mean, it is what it is. So
I'm just hearing a whole bunch of shit talk. That's all I'm hearing.
But I did tell the truth. But I did tell the truth about them, bro. Like I mean, like in terms of their ascension as basketball players.
You're not completely spitting bullshit, but like it's a little bit.
I mean, we can talk about it. Am I going to change? Maybe not. I don't know. I like D Book. I do like D Book. His game is crazy. He hits some tremendous shots in the clutch. But I mean, KD's body of work is just still more right now.
The hell with KD's bodies of work.
Okay, all right, buddy.
Damn.
All right. So we're
Good
moving on.
God,
All right, I want to talk about.
It means nothing,
real
Rod.
quick.
You know it.
I want to talk about two things real quick, and then I have a topic that I'm gonna quiz you guys on. It's two topics, but these two topics I'm gonna leave up. One of the topics I'm gonna leave up to Zeno to speak on. That would be the defending champions, the Denver Nuggets, and how they've been playing for the last 2 weeks. And then the James Harden trade, I'm going to leave up to Daryl to speak on. And then Rodney, you're going to kick off the start bench cut that I'm going to ask you.
Why? Okay, that's fine.
Because it involves somebody that you hate. Anyway, all right.
Kyle Lowry? Is it Kyle Lowry?
No.
All right.
Why are you?
I got excited.
You're
I'll
not.
tell you.
The shit out of him.
Why we like Kyle
Ace Law.
Kyle Lowry came up.
You're nasty.
Yo, y'all is fools, bro. Kyle Lowry came up, bro. The first person I thought about was Dr. Miami, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Oh my god! All right, Zeno. I want you to speak on the defending champion Denver Nuggets and how they look so far for these past 2 weeks, and do you think that they can repeat their success from last year?
Okay, so when we're looking at the Denver's Nuggets, I just want to straight up say, any issues that we thought that they had, throw out the window. The Denver Nuggets this season have been really good. We have the few players that had left the team, Josh Green and Bruce Brown. We thought that those two players are going to be kind of hard to replicate due to the fact that like they were kind of integral pieces of them actually winning. But Christian Braun and Peyton Watson has instantly pretty much been able to play what they have been able to play. So they actually are not losing much value when it comes to that type of stuff. So they can continuously run that Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon, MPJ, Jamal Murray, and KCP lineup. And then when they switch to the bench lineup with Jamal Murray, they're not losing any value that they had last season because they've been completely fine. Peyton Watson has been really good defensively, able to slide his feet really well. He's also been decent when it comes to running the what's called getting to the rim as well. And we already know about Christian Braun. We know what he did last season, how he was able to play against what's his name?
Juwan,
KD, how he was able to play against KD and provide good defense
You
on
are
KD.
nasty.
He was able to, and I'm just giving examples. There's no,
Not you. Not you.
Oh, okay.
Leaf over here.
That was definitely Juwan man in that 5-game finals.
But he was able to do. He was able to provide all of enough value on that side as well. Although I'm trying to see, it was cool for some reason. I'm seeing Christian Braun trying to shot create. I don't know why, but altogether though, I think that yes, they can really repeat their success from last year, barring any injuries. They can straight up repeat their success. So the Denver Nuggets have just been looking like a well-oiled machine on offense. If you watch the Mavs game, they literally beat up on the Mavs since they stepped into the court. They had like a 4 or 5 point lead advantage, and they never lost that advantage. The closest it went, I think, was like 5 points at most, and then they just boosted the point differential up to like 10 or 12. And even with Luka literally cooking their defense for the throughout the whole 48 minutes for the most part, they still couldn't get close enough for them to win. And that's just what the Nuggets brings to you. A consistent offense that will constantly pump out great quality looking shots as long as Jokic is on that court. And that's why, man, I think Jokic, people are going to realize that when Jokic is gone, we really witnessed one of the best players of all time right in front of our eyes. I'm not going to lie to you.
Offensive players of all time.
No, I mean players general. Offensive players, true, but players in general too. So, is there anything else that you wanted us to talk about? What about you guys' opinion on it? Oh, Emi, you can.
It's me. I would like to add that the Denver Nuggets, who I actually approve of, definitely everything that you said about them, they definitely a well-oiled machine on offense. Defensively, they had made strides. And they figured out Aaron Gordon has been pretty much unlocked as a go-to defender for a lot of the wings, dating back to their playoff run where he's had the matchups of Kevin Durant, having the matchups of LeBron James, and another matchup in the finals against Juwan man. He's definitely has been that. However, Minnesota, in that Minnesota game, I think Minnesota, who Bruce Brown has said that they had played them tough. Minnesota has kind of somewhat through like the challenge flag into what Denver is doing. I think Denver they have spots they can regress a bit, because when they have big leads, they tend to, take a step back and trying to dwindle back on them a little bit. But in the long case scenario, bro, like I think Denver can definitely minimum punch their ticket back to the conference finals at minimum, bro. Like if whoever they lose to, I don't think they're gonna lose to the Lakers. I don't think they're gonna lose to the Suns. However, the Clippers maybe that they may have a punch a shot. Clippers may have a punch a shot at beating them. The team that they still have to prove that they could beat, who is definitely on my shit list forever, bro, is the Golden State Warriors. And if they could prove that they could beat them in a 7-game series, I think there's no question that Denver is the team to beat, not just in the West, but in the NBA and the league. And they could probably run off another one as well.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Your hatred is it's the nastiest shit I've ever seen. I have to respect it because, nigga, you are so like honest about it. You're so honest about it.
It's so
I have to respect it.
Every time you see him to say his
appreciate
name,
it,
he just
Justin.
says Juwan man.
I appreciate it.
Hey Zeno, look in the private chat.
No, I got it. I already seen it.
Oh, you seen it?
Yeah. Okay. So our next topic, we got Daryl speaking on the James Harden trade. What you got? How you feel, big dog?
See. So, I had mentioned a couple days ago when I actually looked at the details of the trade, And if for our audience who, I mean, obviously y'all obviously did hear about it, but Clippers are getting James Harden along with PJ Tucker and Philip Petrusov, and the Sixers are going to get Robert Covington, Nick Batum, Marcus Morris, KJ Martin, an unprotected 2028 first round pick from the Clippers, and 2 second-round picks. Also a first round pick from the Thunder and a first round pick swap with the Clippers. To me, honestly, I did say in the group chat that I felt like the Sixers won this trade, and I honestly felt that type of way because looking at how, Harden's, has playing one season before going to a new team and then playing one season and going to a new team, requesting trades. I just don't see, him playing with the Clippers thinking that will work together. I mean, we know his playing style is he wants the ball in his hand to be the point guard. But in order for the Clippers to be successful having him there, I genuinely believe Westbrook needs the ball in his hands to run the point, and Harden needs to play the two, because we've already seen with Westbrook's style this in the previous years with the Lakers is that when LeBron had the ball in his hands, Westbrook basically was out the picture. He was out the offense. So I think if the Clippers want to do well this season, Harden is going to have to play the two. And if he is not willing to play the two, there's going to be a lot of friction there. I feel like the Sixers also, I mean, that is Embiid's team, but we finally have gotten the chance to see Maxey flourish. And I want to say if I look up Maxey's stats right now, he's averaging around 20 a game this season. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
isn't he averaging like 20 a game this year?
Who? James Harden?
Maxey.
Maxey has been. I'll do it for you, bro. Sorry.
I mean, I'm looking it up right now. It's just taking forever to load.
I got you. It's 26.2. Oh, we're talking about Maxey. Okay. Let's go. Okay.
How did he not know we talking about his team?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I zoned out for a second. So Tyrese Maxey, Maxey this season has been lethal from three. He's been averaging 26.2 points on 49, 41, 47%, and 93 splits. Tyrese Maxey has been lethal from three. My fault, Kyron.
No, I'm over here trying to give your team
Tyrese Maxey, bro, is effing incredible, bro. That's another player. That's another player that I approve of, bro.
This is something that
very well.
This is something that we all, especially Zeno, was waiting for once Harden left, and we're finally getting to see Maxey flourish. Like I said, averaging 26-point games, averaging 6 assists a game, and then on top of that, you get Robert Covington, who, I mean, he hasn't really been doing too much, but he does play defense for you. So they got defensive pieces, in my opinion.
I think the biggest addition to me and personally is a young piece by the name of KJ Martin. I think he's going to fit in.
Yeah,
I heard that name and I was like, ooh.
I think KJ Martin is going to fit in very well to what they're doing over there because Nick Nurse has them boys playing defense at very, very fast and high pace, man. Joel is getting the ball out much faster off the defensive rebounds as opposed to doing the BS that he normally does, bro. So Zeno, bro, and I just like to tell this. I just like to tell this and any other Sixers fan that's listening that the Sixers are not garbage, bro. The Sixers are not taking it in, and the process is not over.
I want to say one thing.
Damn, how long the process got to last? I mean,
I think the process has been altered. I would say it's been altered.
Leave.
The United States government, the United States government.
I'm gonna be respectful to Zeno right now, and I'm gonna say that I do think that, like I said, the Sixers won this trade, and I'm gonna respect Zeno for once and be like, look, you for once it's crazy about your team.
Let's go. Okay. So one of the things I want to bring up, you guys have been speaking about all of these things, and I guess it's predominantly about the trade, so fair enough. But one of the players that have gone under the radar is the greatest minimum contract of all time in Kelly Oubre Jr. I want to say
Oh yeah.
he has been
Talk about it.
our best. He's been our
Speak up,
best
bro.
shot creator, and it's weird. It's like weird
Speak
saying
up,
our
bro.
minimum player, has actually been our best shot creator.
Another one of my favorite
been one of
players
our
in
best-
the league. By
He's
the
actually
way,
been really good, and I think he's probably our best cutter to the rim because he's
Shout out former
he
Wizard,
understands
Kelly
he
Oubre.
he understands the angles and where to cut to the rim and make it easier for Embiid or Maxi to hit it to him as he's in his stride to lay it up. I think one of the best things also is Embiid's willingness to play off the ball even faster than he usually does.
Yes.
You see him when he gets the ball gets thrown to him into the post. Embiid's already looking for where can I pass this ball to. He's not always instantly going into his shot mode. So it's really good to see him actually trying to get passes off. Tyrese Maxey has been looking much more comfortable and actually in the pick and roll situation able to make plays out of it. It's making me happy. He's also been a great 3-point shooter. I'm seeing a little bit of 3-point shot creation, a little bit. I don't know, but I'm just happy in general, man. Go ahead.
And to add to that, bro, like everything that you said, Kelly Oubre, they got two of my favorite players in the league right now, Kelly Oubre and Tyrese Maxey, bro. Like, and I can honestly say that as a Nets fan, bro, we can't beat they B team, they C team, they D team, they E team. We can't beat nobody on that damn team, bro. Like they own us, bro, in the preseason, the regular season, and in the playoffs. As of the last 8 games and an 8-9 game stretch, bro. Like, but that team is absolutely making strides in very right direction. Joel is playing much more a team game and looking to make a lot more decisions quicker, a lot more decisions off the ball, and the rim protection is still there, and the defense is definitely on the up and up with guys like Nick Nurse as a coach and Patrick Beverly as basically a motor in the locker room to push them young guys to the forefront, as the same way he did in Minnesota. But the Philadelphia 76ers, bro. I think, people need to people on the Eastern Conference. If you have an Eastern Conference team, bro, like me or like Justin, bro, like listen, you got to be on the whereabouts about them, bro, because they are not going anywhere, bro, anytime soon. If anybody believe that,
I'm not bothered by the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm sorry.
Justin, based off of history, you shouldn't be, but based off of where direction that they're going, you probably should be paying more attention to the Philadelphia 76ers.
No. I'm paying attention to the Philadelphia. I'm not bothered, not one bit. You know why?
Because they have Joel Embiid.
Because they have Joel Embiid.
All right, nigga. Just like how Giannis has been regressing.
Oh yeah, but you want to know the difference? But you know the difference. You know the difference. Giannis has shown that he's resilient. He's resilient
in the playoffs.
Yes, he's shown that he's been resilient.
The thing is, his numbers hasn't dropped in the playoffs. The thing is, the only thing about it is that
yes, it does. Giannis drops in the playoffs.
His efficiency drops significantly.
I mean, the efficiency, but the thing is when they're creating,
not to Joel Embiid's case.
Hey, this difference. There
is a big difference. What I will say is this: in terms of where they will go, the ball is now in Joel Embiid's court, bro, because Giannis has delivered on his championship and multiple MVPs. Joker has delivered on his championship and multiple MVPs. The ball is now in Joel Embiid's court, and I like what Nick Nurse and coach staff and everything that's changed around him is going, bro. And with the ascension of Tyrese Maxey and guys like Tsunami Swag, man, aka Kelly Oubre, bro, like over there, bro. Like, that's his nickname, bro. Like that's a beautiful nickname, by the way, bro. Like I enjoy it. But with guys like that sending and helping out on the team, I think the 76ers chances, bro, like have certainly brightened, bro. Like, and at least in my eyes, bro. Like, but we'll have to see.
I checked. It's called Tsunami Papi, but hey, I'd rather.
I thought it was called Tsunami.
Definitely not calling him that.
I know. I was gonna call Tsunami Swag. I like Tsunami Swag.
Tsunami Swag sounds so much better.
Tsunami Swag sounds so much better.
Another grown man Poppy.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing, bro. Like, I'm not.
You guys understand that Kelly Oubre averaging 21 points on this efficiency. It's not sustainable. It's not.
Yeah, that's not sustainable.
I would say in the past it's probably not, but the way that they're playing as a unit and getting a lot of easy looks.
He's played in similar systems that replicate
Give me one of those systems. Give me one. If you say the Warriors, this conversation is over.
Say Warriors.
No, this
Warriors.
conversation is
He's gonna
over.
say
This
over.
conversation is over. This conversation
You
is
can't
over.
say you
This
can't say
conversation
anything
is
about
over.
the Warriors
This
because
Okay, okay,
you know why this? I'm gonna end this conversation right now because the year that he was playing with them, bro, their floor spacing was terrible. They didn't have Klay Thompson.
So what about Phoenix? What about Phoenix?
Phoenix was not that team. I don't
Phoenix
think
was
you
not
realize.
that team, bro. Like when
it
he
was
played
not
with
the team that
them,
you're thinking of. It was not
No.
the team.
No. I'm not saying that they were just like the system that they were running along with Devin Booker at the helm. And this is before DeAndre Ayton came.
right?
It was similar to what he's being run now. And then it's not like the Philadelphia 76ers shooting is just like all elite.
Well. Here's the thing. The reason why the shooting is a lot better because of the defense and the transition opportunity.
No, it's because he's actually knocking his shots down.
Did that too, but a lot of his shots is much more better and much more open opportunities.
It's not like he's creating any of these shots.
Yes,
But it's a lot more
He's
better
not
and open
creating a lot of these
opportunities,
shots.
bro. And he's creating a little bit
If
more
you're paying
than he
attention
did in those past years, bro. You just got to pay attention to it, bro. Trust me.
I'm telling you, he is actually shot creating. That's why I'm saying he's our best. For some reason, he's been our best shot creator. He's actually shot creating. There is times where he is getting.
So taking one dribble and stepping back is a shot creator.
There's times where he's actually attacking. There's times where he's actually attacking the rim, or he's getting fed.
He's a lot better than you think he is, bro. As a shot creator, bro.
When he's cutting to the rim because of Tyrese Maxey finding him on a cut or Embiid finding him on a cut. I do agree with you, and he does get a lot of his shots assisted, but he does create his own buckets too. That's what I'm telling you.
And he is a mismatch nightmare, bro. At the three.
I didn't say he didn't create his buckets. I said he didn't create a lot of his buckets. He makes about 7 shots a game. About 5 of them are assisted to. About 2 of them are from him himself.
That's okay. Anyways, but I still want to say that also he's been playing a really good defense as well. I think that's another thing that needs to be brought up. He's been playing good defense. He played good defense on against the Bucks, but Damian Lillard. So
that's sustainable. That is sustainable.
Exactly. So
his defense is sustainable.
Mm-hmm. So I think that he can really be that good. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. He's averaging 21 points,
21
on 67% true shooting. Yeah, I don't believe it. Yeah, that's not sustainable. But I still believe he can average around what 17, 18 points on 61, 62 true shooting. I think that's possible.
I got a question for Justin. I got a question for you because when I first mentioned in the group chat what I said, you responded. So why don't you feel like, the Sixers, you feel like didn't win this trade?
The Sixers didn't win this trade because the assets that they got are well beyond their prime years. And
agreed.
We all understand that these pieces are ultimately just their transitional pieces in the sense of they just made this trade to get off of Harden. These pieces are probably going to be utilized more so in the bigger trade in the grand scheme of things that they're looking for, which is Zach LaVine. So that's why I think that they lost. I don't even think that they're going to play Nick Batum, Morris, or Covington.
No, they're playing Covington. I feel like
they're playing Covington.
I don't think they're going to play them. I don't think they're going to play them the minutes, like as far as like impactful minutes for their standards, because they have Kelly Oubre who's playing better than them. Like Kelly Oubre is just better than them at this point of their career. I think Covington could make a case. I think Covington can make a case.
Exactly. That's
because he wasn't given the proper opportunity under Tyronn Lue. But I think what Kelly Oubre is giving to you right now, as long as it's working for you, they're probably going to rock with it. I think that these pieces are just going to be held on to for the Zach LaVine trade. If not, just expiring contracts, that's like a W for them. So it's not like saying that they've like completely lost it, but in the grand scheme of things, this trade essentially has the 76ers doing the same thing they were doing if they would have just held on to Harden, which is a second round exit. In the case of the Los Angeles Clippers did all of this just for them to get smacked in 5 instead of 4 by the Denver Nuggets. Like, really, to tell you the truth, and I was saying this last night on this other podcast. The Clippers basically.
You mean the Buffalo Braves?
The Clippers did what the Phoenix Suns did in the offseason, which is basically the Clippers made the Phoenix Suns do all of that for nothing. And the Phoenix Suns made the Lakers do all of that for nothing, because the Clippers have now positioned themselves to be the second or third best team, depending on how you view the Los Angeles Lakers right now. They did all of this to position themselves as a second or third best team, which is ultimately going to get you either smacked by Denver or a competitive outing against the Lakers to get smacked by the Denver Nuggets. So, like, it really didn't move me at all with either of these trades, which is why I said neither of them really won. But I get why they had to do this trade. In Philly's case, James Harden was throwing a tantrum, and in the Clippers case, they're running out of breath. This team with Paul George and Kawhi, even with them playing well, nobody cares because nobody believes it's going to be sustainable. They're going to get hurt at some point.
I got a quick question. Who do you believe in less, the Suns or the Buffalo Braves?
I believe in the Phoenix Suns less because I don't believe in KD's game in the postseason.
So so basically, it's safe to say, and the Clippers and the Suns end up in a series. You got the Clippers.
Yeah. It'll be a close series. It'll be a close series, but
I think they would have won that last year, bro, had Kawhi not got hurt.
I agree.
I do want to add in that Rocco can be slotted into the starting position if they move D'Anthony Melton back into the bench and then slide everyone down the spot and put Rocco at the 4. That's possible.
I think it's possible, but I think Rocco is more valuable off the bench at this point with the way Kelly Oubre is playing, and even Melton's playing. Melton is playing actually good basketball right now. So, like, I think, like, you don't mess with that starting lineup. The way that Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid and along with Kelly Oubre, Melton, and Tobias Harris, the way that starting lineup is playing, I wouldn't mess with that. I would leave them be. And if anything, integrate Robert Covington or Batum into more of a bench role than anything, because they can be utilized in that sense.
So I'm just actually just smiling about how good my team is looking right now. My fault. Carry on.
Don't
Zeno,
get too cocky, bro.
It's crazy how I said I'm just smiling on how my good team is looking, and you guys are taking us cocky.
Zeno, the thing is, in terms the road to a championship, bro, basically kind of runs through Boston right now. So if y'all can prove that y'all can consistently beat them, which I'm hoping that y'all can, and y'all basically sold me last year, bro, in the 7-game series, bro. Like, listen,
they can't. And in fairness to them, neither can the Milwaukee Bucks right now.
The thing is, bro, like, I don't think Boston is that imposing to me, bro. Like, I mean, like have
you not been watching them so far?
I watched them last night, and basically it took them 4 quarters, bro, like to basically get a double-digit lead and double-digit win against a team.
Oh wow! So
a team that was missing 3 starters, and that's mid in my Nets, by the way, bro. Like, so, like, at best. So
it took them 4 quarters for them to whoop somebody's ass. That's crazy.
It took them 4 quarters to pull away. We got tired, bro. If you watch that game, we were taking threes down the stretch, bro. Like, we really didn't care because we were coming off a back-to-back against the Bulls, bro. But we was basically playing our first midseason playing game, and that game then came down to the wire, bro. And we was missing Claxton and Cam Johnson still, and we're still missing them. I mean, we didn't have Ben Simmons last night, so that's 3 starters missing, bro. Like, and that we didn't have, and it took all of that, bro, for them to get like maybe a 12-point lead and 12-point win eventually, bro. Like, that's not dominant to me, bro. They supposed to beat the shit out of us from start to finish if they that damn good, and they're not.
I wanna say one thing though while you guys are having this conversation. I just checked. Derek White is averaging 15.8 on like the best true shooting percentage in the league. That is fucking insane. But anyways,
It's
back to
really
Wilson.
not, bro.
I
Like
agree.
15.8, bro, off a true shooting, bro. Like that if he was averaging like 19 plus off a true shooting, then I'll be moved. But anything under than that, no.
Do you know
I
what?
give him that.
Do you know what?
82 per
do you-
true.
Yeah, do you know
82%
what
true
true
shooting
shooting
I
is?
is.
know what true shooting is, bro. It's a stat that was put in to make James Harden look better than what he was, bro. Like,
Oh, okay, all right. Then we're going back to his nasty theories. All right. Anyway, guys.
Dang.
All right. So, Rodney, I got a start bench cut for you. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right.
Unfortunately, it doesn't have Kyle Lowry in it. So, all right.
Bro is hunted for Kyle Lowry. What is going on?
No, it has nothing to do with Kyle Lowry. He's just being nasty and grumpy. He needs to eat.
If there's
Anyway,
anything I know about Rodney,
it's Kyle
Rodney's
Lowry.
always
All right,
Kyle Lowry.
All right, so this start bench cut is I simply want you to tell me who you starting, who you're benching, who you're cutting, and then we'll get into like the reasons why. Okay.
All right.
So we're gonna
What is your problem?
yeah,
What
okay.
is your
Wait,
problem, sir?
Wait. Before you answer
we're
this,
going
Rod.
to be doing
Oh my
Before you,
God!
Rod. Before you answer this, I would just like to say, listen. I know I've said for the things that I've said on streams and over the past months, man. I know people have, but this is downright disgusting.
Despicable.
This is downright awful, bro.
This
Justin,
is nasty
there's
work.
no
This is
reason for
nasty
this.
work right here.
You're
There's
such
no
a
reason for
mean.
this,
You're a
Justin, at
mean
all, bro.
person.
This is evil, bro.
man. So Rodney, this is a start bench cut.
So never trust nobody with a CJ McCollum mustache, bro. Like at all, bro. Like, never, bro. Never trust them, bro. Because they're up to no good. This is just nasty.
I don't trust
dirty
light
work,
skinned
bro.
people as it is anyway.
Never trust somebody who cuts their camera on and off like a light switch. All
Nah,
right,
there needs to
I
be
don't
a
just
challenge
like
on this.
seeing
There
people.
needs to
this
be
is
a
a
challenge
start
on
bench.
this because
This is
there's
a
no way
start
you
bench
just really.
cut, legendary edition. We going Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, Matty Johnson. Rodney, are you ready?
Unfortunately, I gotta start
Thank
this
you,
foolishness
fans.
off.
Thank you, fans.
I don't know who brought this up, but y'all nasty for that.
Who
Y'all
else
nasty.
other than Justin.
It can't just be Justin. There's
Nope.
gotta be another. It's got to be
Yeah,
another
yeah,
light skinned culprit
yeah.
too. It's two
Yeah.
light skinned culprits in
Another
there. I know it is.
light-skinned corporate is crazy.
Nope. All
All
right.
right, good to go. So I'm gonna start Tim Duncan.
W.
I'm gonna bench Magic Johnson,
W.
and I have to cut Larry Bird.
Nice. You know, bro.
I'm so
You know,
proud
bro.
of you. I'm so proud of you, Rodney.
This
man.
was a waste of time.
It was honestly. I don't know what's wrong with him though, but
I'm so proud of you. All
like
right.
if it was like three other people and they were in the same position in the same like positions, like that would make more sense. This doesn't even make sense, honestly.
No. It makes all the sense in the world. We need to let people know that fraud.
You just want to hate on Larry Bird, so you put two and you knew they were better than him players.
I want to know where this
to
Larry
have this
Bird hatred
conversation.
came from, bro. Like,
We hate
it's
Larry
not-
Bird
it's
with
not
a
hatred. I just
passion.
Rodney.
It's not hatred. I just need people to understand that he was a major benefit of being on a historic franchise that gave him everything he wanted. He was Silver Spoon.
he was
Rodney,
silver
Rodney,
spoon,
what's
bro.
up? What's up? What's up,
Wait,
Darryl? What's
do we
up,
know
This
what
was
he
the
did on the
question you should've
rebounds
gave
and
my
on the
dad,
assist
if
column,
anything.
bro? Like,
Hold on.
are
I
we
can't
not
hear you.
announcing?
Leave.
Hold on, Leaf.
What's up, Daryl?
No, I was saying this is a question Justice should gave my dad.
Right?
This is the question. This is the question you could have gave him.
Well,
You know he like Larry Bird.
you can give it to him, and he can try to attack me on it. And I'm gonna tell him the same thing that I told him. Larry Bird out of the top 10. Anyway, all right,
Larry Bird
guys.
out of the top 10? What
You do not
Larry Bird hasn't
understand
been
this,
a top 10
dude.
player.
You do
Larry
not
Bird hasn't been a
understand.
top 10 player for like the last 3 years.
What do we think? What, bro? Where is this coming from, bro? Like,
the better the
are we
talent.
just going and digging up numbers, bro, and being like, you know what? I don't approve of this, bro. Like, nah, he's out of the top 10.
The more you look into it, the more you will understand that man Larry Bird.
So
You
is
take
this
them both
the end of the
out,
show,
they
or
don't have. That's kind of how it
Yes,
feels.
this is the
And
end
do
of
the
the
do the
show.
rebounds
guys.
and do the
All right,
rebounds
guys.
and
Well,
assists
that is
not
gonna
We
do it
matter?
for
apologize.
this
We didn't mean to
episode.
destroy our show like this, but this is what
Podcast.
happens.
I am so happy that I have ended it on chaos. This is exactly what I wanted. Okay. This is the casual
Man, by the way.
And I'm being
years old.
called God of Destruction,
and
bro.
I guess Leaf. Shout out to everybody in the
Grown
chat.
ass man, 25 years old, by the way.
Shout out to Leaf. It's actually 26. I misquoted myself.
26 years old, by the way.
Shout out to Leaf for being in the chat. Shout out to my boy Desto for coming in.
Shout out.
Shout out to Fareez, Up the Score as usual. Make sure to go check their podcast out. They're
great
fantastic.
podcast they got over there. Definitely.
And
shout out to Mr. Randolph for joining us earlier
Zeno
today. This was
Leaf 4788.
Okay.
Leaf Diggy.
It's at Leaf 47. Do not come in here with Discord talk, please.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna sign out and we'll tap in with you guys later. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you can be able to stay in tune with us for every video, live stream, and post that we may update you guys with. We'll see you guys next time. Anything anybody else want to say?
Leaf Diggy.
Appreciate me being on here, bro. You know you forever gonna be basically a watered down version of Mars. You do know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
I love you know.
Wow.
See you later, Leaf Diggy.
Yeah.
Leave on disrespect. Good
It's Leaf
Lord.
4788, bro. When we on screen, bro. That's what it is.
But
yeah, YouTube.com
Good to go, Leaf.
/ Leaf 4788, bro. I definitely do. I got a couple of shows going on. Leaf is the league and Nets Visual, bro. For all Nets fans, bro. That's not involving none of nobody up here because nobody cares about the Nets until they do something. But
I care about the Nets. What are we talking about here?
The funniest thing is I've actually had the Nets possibly being the 6th seed this season. I have them around 8-7.
Just
But
you.
I'm the one who doesn't actually care about the Nets. You're right.
Just you.
I mean, as a Sixers fan, I don't think you should care about the Nets, but as a Nets fan, I do somewhat garner.
Why shouldn't we care about the Nets? The Nets have like some great young talent along
No,
with
you like Cam Thomas. That's why you like Cam Thomas. That's it.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about Cam Thomas. I care about Mikal Bridges.
Mikal Bridges is definitely making his presence known. I would like him to attack a lot more, bro. Like instead of
He's not letting his presence be known, but I mean he will soon. He just got to get used to the new role he's in.
So slowly but surely he's coming into that
Ben Simmons has been
bro.
looking good as well.
Ben Simmons has been looking good, bro. Like even without looking at the basket, Ben Simmons has definitely been a plus for our team.
Nah, he's been looking at the basket. He's been looking at the
Before we go,
I've done every
really
game. He has
out
not
this
been looking at the basket now.
Before it's Ben Simmons. When does he ever look at the basket? Anyway,
Exactly.
Before we go, I just wanted to say last week I was sad, but them Hawks is on a four game winning streak, so I'm good to go. Let's go. 41 for my boy Murray. Let's go.
This is the Atlanta Hawks we're talking about.
Yeah,
Show is, bro. What's good?
Okay.
Like we said what's good, bro. Like they big body, bro. Like come on, stop
Gonna
it.
body y'all,
Yawn.
guaranteed.
Look,
Jalen Johnson gonna body you. He already put two dudes in New York.
Jalen Johnson,
Done
bro.
deal.
Like Jalen
Stop
Johnson. I don't think they missing John Collins at all.
All right, guys.
Not
We'll
at
holler at you
all.
guys later.
Fuck we talking
Man,
about.
peace.
I appreciate it, bro. But
Yeah.